Welcome in on a absolutely gorgeous Thursday afternoon. Gorgeous here. It was not gorgeous in Augusta. There was a delay, but it's gorgeous now. In fact, 81 degrees down south in Augusta, Georgia, and the players are as hot as that temperature is. They are eating it up at Augusta National. Right now, 46 players are under par. 62 of the 92 are even par. The best round of the day just finished is Paul Casey at 7 under. Webb Simpson with a 67 today. Xander Schauffele with a 5 under 67 today. And then there's a group at 4 under. And Tiger Woods closes with a 68. That is his best first round at Augusta. It is the first time in 105 major championship rounds that he did not have a bogey. Tiger Woods, Brett Norsworthy, is the defending champion of the Masters, and he looked like the defending champion at Augusta National.
Dave, he did, and it was sweat-free. It was easy breezy for him, and man, he looked great. And a lot of them are, and right now they're people that will not complete their first round today. It'll be completed tomorrow, and that may get them in the morning having to do bust a little bit. But I know Nick Price shares it, and I think there's maybe one or two others. The course record, the tournament record, is 63 for the Masters. And I know Nick Price has shot a 63, and I don't know who else. There are at least one more, maybe a couple others. That could go down today with just a few to play, and with completing the first round tomorrow morning, it sure could, because it is most gettable, and they're so good. I don't think it's a knock on the course. It's still one of the more beguiling courses in the world, but it's certainly not as tough as some U.S. Open setups because of the rough and such. And it is playing most benignly today.
Well, I heard Curtis Strange. I thought had a very good analysis point when he said, even though it becomes longer at Augusta when it is wet and raining like it was early today, but the greens slow down enough that the scores are actually better. The best score at Augusta, believe it or not, by Tiger Woods is a 65. There's never been a champion that has had all 4 rounds in the 60s. So you got a bunch of people that are in the 60s right now. I don't know if that'll actually hold up this time around. And the guy that you were talking about that could break 63 is the guy I believe you picked yesterday with the very first pick of all, and that is Justin Thomas, who's birdied 4 of the first 5 holes. He's 4 under through 5.
And he just missed on the very tough par 3 number 4, and then to birdie the tough par 4 number 5, he's off to the races. And I love the par 3 number 6, kind of straight downhill, very close green complex area. If you're there, 216. It's why when Vern Lundquist kind of jumps over and does first 9 coverage, you hear his voice covering 6, because from his tower he can see the green action on number 6. And you're seeing this year, and I think it's great for people that may have not been or hadn't been frequently and don't really, air quotes here, know the place as much as we think we, air quotes here, know the place. That you're seeing areas this year with the coverage and with no fans there, no patrons there, and with the drone coverage. Clifford Roberts went to his grave saying there would never be a blimp shot of Augusta National. Well, there's not a blimp, but there's a lot of drones flying around, or a drone or some drones flying around to show the Eisenhower cabin from behind, and it really gives justice to it. I mean, when you hear, Eisenhower cabin, you think it might be something that Meeb and Shelby State Park, some little cabin. Well, it's including the basement. It's about five. It's about 5 stories, and you're getting a back view of it today.
Yeah.
That unless you're there and you go to the par 3 contest, you don't know that exists. And I think it's great for fans. I think it feels like Augusta National has thrown the curtains back a little bit in a lot of different ways, both in calls and in membership and in things, and I think it is a good thing.
In humanity, in social justice, in causes, I really do believe that. I find it, you wrote to me about that drone shot, and I really don't know the answer, so I'm certainly not saying you're wrong, but it is, if that is a drone shot, it is the steadiest drone shot I have ever seen, and that could be the way they're doing it now. They may have
or it's the lowest blimp,
or they figured out some sort of tower that they have a zoom lens that they use that gets that shot. I don't know what it is, but you're right. We've never seen that shot. Of course, we're seeing things we've never seen before, with the color of the trees that are the fall colors as opposed to the brilliant spring colors we're so used to seeing. But we're still getting a lot of green and some of those fall colors that are in patches of woods that don't necessarily correlate with shots you would see during golf. They're gorgeous, though, and you're getting that from the drone shots or whatever that shot is.
Yeah, and you're getting a lot more overhead where you can kind of see the whole golf course and taking some of the mysteriousness out of it. For a long time, CBS's traditional coverage, they treated the front 9, they called it the dark side of the moon. They would hardly, for a long time, up till the 90s, they just hardly would reference or show a shot at all from what, as they call it, the first 9. But now you're seeing a lot more of it, and I think it's good. I think it's good for the viewer. I think it's good for the golf fan, and I hope it makes them more embraceable. I don't know that they're that concerned with being loved, but I do think they are concerned with their play, the obvious place in golf history, and what that entails. And maybe it's Fred Ridley, or maybe it's just 2020 and 21st century marching on, and it's time. I think it's a great thing.
I think that's exactly right. I honestly think, Brett, that the world is different now, and Augusta is keeping up with the way the world is. And they are changing, I think rightfully so. I'm sure there are some that would agree with that, but they are, with a lot of the causes that they are giving to, and including historically black colleges or universities. They've started a golf team. I think it's a girls' golf team in Augusta at I think
every dime of it. They said whatever it costs.
Yeah, I mean it's really a heartwarming thing, and I'm so glad for all of that. Back to the leader, Paul Casey, who shot that ho-hum 65.
I think the next thing they ought to do, they ought to let poor little old radio schmoes in as full members like me and Dave.
I don't think we're ever going to see that day, my friend. That day may have passed. And here's the truth, Brett. I'm really not asking for that. I'm asking for one round. One round. And, they used to let Mondays used to be media covering it. They had a lottery you could go in, and I think you had a limit unless you were, like a Dan Jenkins or something like that was there every year.
Yeah, I think he made the lottery.
I think he could play whenever he wanted to, but I would just like one single round. Now, back to the players today. Paul Casey, he had a 65 today. That could have easily have been a 63, a 62. He was really sharp today.
He was sharp, and did you hear Jim Nantz reference his former CBS colleague, who is Paul Casey's good friend and trusted coach, Peter Costas, teacher. And today, I promise you, I have missed Bill McAdee and Peter Costas.
I don't understand the Peter Costas move. I love McAtee, don't get me wrong. I think he was very good at what he did. I don't know why CBS did the total shuffle the way they went, but Peter Costas was a mainstay. I mean, he was the guy that analyzed the swings, and I don't think he did a bad job, so I don't understand his removal. I will tell you, though, on the positive side of the broadcasting story, you've already mentioned his name, but how good did it feel to hear Vern Lundquist? I'm telling you, and it's not because I know Vern Lundquist.
It was great.
But just there's a comforting feeling when he's a part of the broadcast.
Drew, Dave goes back to Steamboat, Vern.
No, I actually
all roads always lead back to Steamboat.
Let me just say this. I taught Vern Lundquist about Steamboat. That's not exactly true. I learned.
He discovered it after you?
I met Vern Lundquist in Dallas because he actually worked for KRLD, where I ended up working.
Voice of the Cowboys.
And he was sort of doing the job. I didn't replace him. I replaced the guy that replaced him, who passed away. Was a network guy too.
Yeah.
But
Bob Gleber.
Frank Lieber.
Frank Gleber.
But Vern replaced Gleber replaced Vern when he went to become a national guy. Vern was the voice of the Cowboys for a little bit before Brad Sham. Brad Sham got the gig when Vern went CBS. But I met him, and he was the nicest guy to me. I met him in Dallas. Actually, I met him at either TPC Las Colinas or I think it was Fort Worth. But so I got to know him a little bit, and he had a really good friend that was with the company that owned Steamboat, and so I had known that he kind of knew that guy, and I kind of knew that guy a little bit. So we had talked about Steamboat in Dallas, and then he moved to Steamboat a little bit after that. I preceded Lundquist in Dallas, just so you know and get the story right.
It was great to hear his voice today, and we'll be all weekend.
Yeah, no.
And his personal,
really
for a long time, Jim Nance, when he was just a course reporter, he was on 16. But really, the mainstay for a long time on CBS's coverage on 16 was Ben Wright, and nobody. Ian Baker Finch tried to today when he tried to let it roll. Nobody could say towering loblolly pines like Ben Wright could.
No, I love Ben Wright too. He and who did Ben Wright have? I guess who was the guy that Ben Wright always had a back and forth with? Kind of the way McCord did for a while with Faraday. Oh, I'm trying to remember who the heck it was. It'll come to me. Maybe
he had a good time.
Yeah, Ben Wright was a terrific guy. There is some other.
Can
news.
you imagine Pat Summerall and Ben Wright out together? Whew.
Ooh, that would
expense tab getting wrecked.
They could afford it. They were all doing quite
Livers
well.
and primary organs getting wrecked as well.
You mentioned yesterday, if we look at percentages of those college football games that have been played, it's 85% that have been played, whereas about 15% have been canceled. But so there's 55 postponed or canceled football games at the college level involving, this is what's interesting, 64 of the FBS teams. And Brett McMurphy spelled this out. Even though we're successful, what I think this is, it shows you how we have been able to overcome, and we're still not figuring it all out quite yet, like Memphis and Navy. I don't know if that game will ever get made up, to be honest with you. But there's a breakdown thanks to Brett McMurphy, who's done a marvelous job during this pandemic on so many different fronts. But he breaks down the leagues and the schools that have been have missed games, and that is pretty large when you look at this. In Conference USA, 12 of the 13 schools in the league have missed games. In the SEC, it'll be 10 of 14 when this weekend is over. In the AAC, 9 of 11. In the Sun Belt, 8 of 10. In the ACC, 7 of 15, so a little less than half. Big Ten, but it's only a few weeks in, 5 of 14. Pac-12, even though they just started, a third of the schools, 4 of 12, have missed. Mountain West Conference, same thing, 4 of 12. Big 12, they've done pretty well, 3 of 10. Of course, the MAC just started, and there was some unbelievable MAC games last night. They are perfect. They have not missed a game in the 2 weeks or the week and a half that their teams
Dave,
have been out there.
I think it'll eventually get everybody, and in this year of batting 1,000, I think we'll bat 1,000 with everybody missing at least one. I think it almost is getting close to time. I know we have set bowl dates. I know the Rose Bowl this year, it's one of the two semifinal games, and I know it badly wants to be at 4:30 Central Time on New Year's Day. But, Dave, I think we're getting to the point that we can't maintain Saturday the 19th as sacrosanct as championship Saturday. And I don't think we
agree.
can I think it's getting close to time of, look, fellas, we're not going to have anybody at the Rose Bowl, and we're probably not going to be able to have the Rose Bowl on January 1st. We're going to be able to have it. It may be February 1st. It really may be. And then the whole issue of eligibility for people. Would you have the same players eligible if it got into a second semester? Would they have to be enrolled in classes to be eligible for a bowl and all that? But
that's
I
a
think
fair question to ask.
We're getting close.
And how many of those guys who'd be getting ready for the NFL draft, usually in that time period, how many of those would go, you know what? I'm going to give up getting ready for the draft because I want to play in an empty Rose Bowl? I don't think that'll happen.
Exactly, Dave. And I don't think it should. I don't think it's human nature. I wouldn't blame them. And just how many people do I really want to go back to, old State U or old College U or wherever I was, I'm ready to move on. I think we're going to have bowls canceled that don't see it coming right now.
That could easily happen. I'll give you it's not a bowl, but I'll give you an example of a story that is just terrible. That just happened about an hour and a half ago. Lausanne High School's football team getting set to play Lipscomb in that's Chunk Dilfer's school. They're great. And Kevin LaCastro's team is great. I've heard people talking about this showdown for a couple of weeks. I don't think there's the greatest of feeling between. You could actually say there's some bad blood between the two schools at this moment for, I think, a statement that Dilfer had made. And Lausanne had one COVID case they found today. That game has been forfeited by Lausanne. Their season is over.
Yeah, and we're into playoff time now. It's no more rescheduling. If you can't play now, it goes down as a forfeit. I don't know if you should have to count it as a loss, but I know what it does count as. You don't count as moving on in that state playoff tournament bracket, and that is what's happened to Lausanne. There's a lot going on at the Masters. There's a lot going on tonight in the NFL. And if you're watching the game and you see another ad for FanDuel Sportsbook and you think to yourself, is that legal here in Tennessee? You bet it is, and get involved. FanDuel Sportsbook, now legal in Tennessee. You can place your first bet on FanDuel Sportsbook risk-free and get up to $1,000 back if you don't win. If you don't win, seriously, there's no strings attached. Just place any bet you want. If you win, you keep the cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in bonus site credit so you can take another shot at the end zone on the house. A good one tonight in the NFL. For sure, with the Titans at home in an AFC South battle against the Colts. And with FanDuel Sportsbook, generous risk-free bets are just the beginning. They've got a simple app, live betting on every game, live action during course of play at the Masters, and exhilarating bet types such as same-game parlays where you combine multiple bets from one game into a single parlay. And once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, they get you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. To claim your risk-free bet, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and be sure to sign up with promo code CASH so they know that we sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code CASH. Easy to register, easy deposit, easy to find your bet. Fast withdrawals. When you win, you get your money. Promo code CASH so that they know we sent you. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis, and they want you to have the November and December to remember at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They are offering the Golden Opportunity November, December holiday sales event. Great offers on all remaining 2020 models, and the 2021s are rolling in. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
That is Penny Hardaway said today to the media, everybody is healthy and they're practicing, except Isaiah Stokes with a personal issue, but he should be back practicing next week. No word yet on DeAndre Williams, but he said he expects that everybody will be eligible, including Musa Cisse, by the time they play against St. Mary's November the 25th in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He says they're motivated by not being in the top 25. He said the schedule is just about done and should be released at any moment.
My top story, hardest Masters ever to get started. Boy, it was like pulling jaw teeth this morning. Come on, weather, please back away. And it did. Now it's going to be perfect. There's going to be a Sunday finish. Almost every biblical warning has hit this year's Masters. Plagues, floods. What's next? It's never easy, is it? But finally, some play and some great play at the famed Augusta National Golf Club, my favorite sporting event.
Yeah, 46 under par and 62 at even par. I would say, hello, it's good to have the guys who are great back.
Not top story of the day.
Well, that is the Lausanne news of the forfeiture for the one negative COVID case in Shelby County. 257 new cases today, 10 new fatalities. That's sad. 3,500 tests at 7.3%. So we're at 41,575 in Shelby County. Over 604 have passed away. In the United States, over 140,000 cases yesterday. That's double what we were getting a month ago. And this afternoon, when I checked at noon, there were 75,000 new, so we're most likely going over 100,000 new cases again today. We're 10.75 million with 247,000 who have passed away in the world. About 500,000, 500,000 new cases, 53 million total. 1.3 million who have passed, 15 million active cases of COVID worldwide.
My not top story, and I am mostly with the people that praise him because he's done a pretty good job, a real good job through all this. But I said it at the time, the SEC and Greg Sankey, instead of starting that last weekend in September, I thought they should have been going the 19th, maybe even the 12th of September, because of this, because what we're up to. Earlier was the better play than later, unless we're finally going to realize, as we were just discussing, okay, there's no sacrosanct dates. January 1, Rose Bowl, the CFP game, first a fall semester, that's all out this year. If we got to finish February 20th, that may be what it is in college football.
Maybe. I am totally to the position where why do we have to even have a closure date, right? I think we have to roll.
Where's that? Why do we have an expiration date, Dave?
We have to roll with the COVID punch, and whatever.
Same for college basketball. If the Final Four is Memorial Weekend, what the hell?
Look what the NBA did. They didn't end their season when they normally do. And
exactly. Who said it's got to be this finite date?
If that's the reality of it, I agree. Roll with the COVID punches. That's the message for the. We have a very busy show coming your way in just a minute. Our friend from the Sporting News, Bill Bender, will join us. We'll make our Thursday night football pick, and this is a good game, and it'll be right here on 56, 98.5, and 96.1. That's the Titans and the Colts. And that really is going to be that's about as good a Thursday night football game as I can remember. We're going to be busy, by the way. Friday, Eli Savoy, just heard him. He was talking with the coaches at Christian Brothers High School. They play McCallie at 6:50. Friday night, tomorrow night, Ole Miss in South Carolina. Pregame show with Brett starting at 4:30. Sunday, we got the Eagles and the Giants, and then the Ravens and the Patriots. And then Monday night, they always save the best for last. The Vikings will be upset in Chicago when they play the mighty monsters of the Midway. Bill Bender is coming your way. We said at 3:30. Then Rex Hoggard live from Augusta from the Golf Channel. We'll talk about what's happened today. Russell Copeland on the NFL at 4:30 at 5 o'clock. Talking Tigers with Greg Gaston. At 5:30, we will chat with Tim Doolin and what are the White Sox going to do about Tony La Russa. We'll get into that with him, and then at 5:50, it'll be crunch time. We are officially underway on this gorgeous Thursday on Sports Time on Sports 56.
Memphis Tiger fans, catch the Blue and Gray Show with John Stacy and Drew Barrett, Sunday nights from 5 till 7, right here on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
James Davis is one of those stores that just says Memphis. It's an original. The finest men's clothing in Memphis can be found in the Laurelwood Shopping Center at James Davis. Let's start with the Stant Custom Fitting System. This is relatively new. You can only find it at James Davis Men's Store, and it's where you walk through the door. You're going to take 3 quick measurements, about 15 seconds, and then about a week later, you're going to get the perfect fitting shirt. I mean, in the neck where you can tie your ties comfortably, all kinds of colors, all kinds of fabrics. The same thing with pants. A couple of measurements. A week later, you've got a perfect fitting in the waist, in the leg, pair of pants that makes you feel good. And they still have the great Paul Battenley suit deal. 2 for $7.95. You look great on Zoom calls. Sweaters and pullovers, perfect for eating outside. The best place to go for men's clothing in Memphis, it's simple. James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle, with options like Blind Spot Assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first
Drew,
step into an
ask
authorized
Bill as
Mercedes-Benz
nicely
van
and as
dealership today.
diplomatically as you can.
Now with IRS Section
to get in
179,
a sales
businesses to
spot
be
and
eligible for
stay
up to a
there where we can hear you. Last week, I
tax
listened
deduction.
to
That's up to $5,439 in tax savings.
Options and model availability may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment described as optional. $5,439 tax savings based on 21% federal tax rate and eligibility to claim full $25,900 Section 179 vehicle deduction. Your tax rate and eligibility may vary. Consult your tax advisor for more information. Limits may apply. Visit mpvans.com. Offer valid through December 31st, 2020.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1, and the new FM 98.5.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Welcome back in on this just absolutely gorgeous Thursday afternoon. We want to remind you the Holidays at Home sale this year is happening at Family Leisure. You get a big help on spending the holidays at home. They have so many spas in stock, hundreds more on order. So now's a really terrific time to save big on those spas. There's huge savings, too, on pool tables, game tables, arcades. If we're going to spend all this time at home with the family, how about having something cool like that? Or if you just sort of want to hang out and relax and feel better, how about the massage chairs? They have those at a big reduced price. You can buy a pool now for the 2020 price, save the 2021 price increase, and get early installation. If you buy a pool now, remember how many we ran out of last year? They have them in stock. The Holidays at Home sale happening now at Family Leisure. That's Witten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together for the holidays. Bill Bender from the Sporting News joins us every week in this time slot. Always a treat to talk with him. I know you've written a thing on Heisman trophies this week and some of the picks of the games. But I want to start with the William Campbell Trophy because Memphis, I'm really proud of this. Memphis has two. One who's a native Memphian, who's a great player, and I think president of his class at Navy, and that is Cameron Kinley. He's a Campbell Trophy finalist, and Brady White, the Tiger quarterback, who's now the winningest quarterback in the school history, he is also a finalist. If you're amongst the 12 finalists, folks, you get $18,000 in scholarship money to postgraduate education. So those guys have already got $12,000 in their pocket. And, Bill, if you don't mind, expound a little bit on the Campbell thing because they call this the academic Heisman. Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's a bunch of good guys have won this in the past. Christian Wilkins, recent winner. There's several others. I mean, Jordan was a finalist for that last year. And typically, in my experience, Micah Kaiser, the Virginia linebacker, these guys that win this, it is definitely the academic Heisman for a reason. And you see a lot of these guys go on to good NFL careers because they've got the off-the-field stuff figured out. And it's not an issue. And definitely, I think, to have those two Memphis natives in there, that's a big deal. So that's pretty cool. One obviously native, one the other player. I think it's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and Barrett Jones, a guest of ours, he won it, and I think the good defensive back at Florida State, help me with the first name. I'm sorry, I can't remember it. Last name Roll, and now he is a neurosurgeon.
Really?
Yeah, Myron Roll.
Didn't Justin Herbert win this thing?
He did. It's a good guy award, and it's like every year, I've had the fortune of interviewing the winner the last couple of years, and it's always a good experience because you leave knowing that guy's going to go on to more success, not just on the field but off it.
Bill, in your neighborhood, I am here to defend Jim Harbaugh as a football coach, more of a pro coach than a college coach. And seriously, Dave's a rabid Bears fan. I think the Bears would be getting them a really good coach in that. It feels like it simply has not worked out at Michigan for him, and that has happened before at places where people dreamed of. The dream coach finally comes home, and it just doesn't work. Dave, a friend of ours, you much closer to him than I, Pepper Rogers' life was not going to be full until he got back to Georgia Tech. It just didn't work out.
That's
Bill,
true.
I think Jim Harbaugh, it just hadn't worked out.
No, it has, but not what you're paying for. And I looked this up today and got a piece ready for tomorrow on all this, and it's they have the 10th best record among Power 5 programs since he got there. But the 9 programs ahead of him are the playoff teams, the national championship teams. The only team ahead of him that hasn't won the Big Ten championship is Wisconsin. That's Saturday's opponent. And the 3 guys that are making comparable money to Jim Harbaugh won the last 3 national championships, Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and Ed Orgeron. So Michigan can say they're not getting what they're paying for. And there are a lot of reasons for that. But what's happened the last 2 weeks has really amplified your point that maybe he is better off coaching in the NFL.
Bill, his record, and look, I've always kind of liked Michigan. I grew up in Chicago. I went to camp in the state of Michigan. I've always thought it was a great school on a lot of fronts, and I always bought the Kool-Aid that they were a great college football program. But as Brett has pointed out several times over the last few years, Michigan's only won 1 national title. When you look at that, maybe we just overrate how good Michigan is, and therefore the expectations sour everybody. That's one way to look at it, and I'm trying to look at it that way in regards to Harbaugh. But when you look at Harbaugh's record against ranked teams, it's hard to say he's an elite coach. I know you just said they're top 10 over under his reign of the Power Five, which is hard for me to believe, but he just doesn't beat the teams when the games are really going to count. He beats teams he's supposed to beat, but he can't beat the win the big games.
Again, I would bring in 37-5 against unranked teams, 9-3 against teams outside the top 10 that are ranked. I mean, he can beat ranked teams. He can't beat top 10 teams, 2-12. And here's the stat for both of you, and this is where it all changed. The trajectory of both programs, Ohio State and Michigan, really changed on the spot with J.T. Barrett in 2016. If you look before that, Michigan was 20-5 under Harbaugh. 20-4, I'm sorry. Since that game, they're 28-15. You want to guess what Ohio State's record is? They're 41-5.
Man. Wow.
And that's it.
Wow.
That's the gap that everybody's talking about. And I really believe that 16 game was the last time, and I've been at all five, the last 5 years, that was the last time I was in the press box watching a game between those two teams and thought to myself, Michigan has the better team here. But what they didn't have that day, and they haven't had for years, and it's the most probably stupefying part of this whole thing with the Harbaugh experience, Michigan has not had the better quarterback since probably Chad Henne.
I buy that.
That's 15 years.
Isn't this as if he needed it? Isn't this the final example that Dabo Swinney needs to stay put? Don't try to walk in as if he even wanted to. Just stay put. I'm the king of Clemson. That's pretty good. I don't have to try that Bama thing. Mama don't. I cannot take the call from Mama.
Well, the not so obvious takeaway from last week's game against Notre Dame to me was that when Trevor goes, Clemson's fine. If DJ Uiagalelei can go on the road and put his team in position to win the way he did without a running game behind him and not really make the big mistakes, he didn't. Played an outstanding game on the road at Notre Dame. They're fine at quarterback for the foreseeable future.
I'm with
you. And for them to go from Deshaun to Trevor to him, and Taj Boyd before that, really. It's an incredible thing that Dabo's put together, and that's the difference right there, quarterback. And I think Clemson's been able to do that. When Dabo was on the ropes there a little bit when he first started at Clemson until he got the right quarterback, and then everything changed.
Well, I think you're spot on with DJ Uiagalelei. Uiagalelei is not the problem, and the reason that Clemson lost that game. It's Brent Venables' defense. It's not even Dabo. So they got to fix that, and they will be fine, and I'm sure that they will fix it and probably fix it in time for an ACC championship game. So we could see two ACC teams that get into the playoff for the very first time. But I must also agree with you, Brett. I don't see why Dabo Swinney would even consider leaving to take the reins at Alabama when he's now the Nick Saban or Bear Bryant at Clemson. He's it. They're going to have a statue for him out there. Why would you leave that?
They're going to have Dabo's rock. He's bigger than Danny Ford. It's not even close. It's not even a debate anymore that he's the biggest coach ever there. For Brian Kelly, was that his biggest win at Notre Dame, Bill?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was right up there with the 93 win against Florida State from a program standpoint because they finally showed that they can win that game. They really hadn't won that game since. They've won big games against Michigan and Michigan State, but they hadn't really flexed like that. I think it was a fantastic setting. I got to watch with some friends. We were up in Canton for the weekend, and I always tell people and I told my son and his friend, I said, especially this year with your mask on, remember where you were when you watched this game because it's going to be talked about forever with Notre Dame, and that was another one of those. And now,
may I say it? May I say why it was big?
Go ahead.
May I say why it was big from my perception? And because it cuts both ways. When Georgia went up there and did it, it felt good for me. It was good for Notre Dame because it was against the South.
For sure. I mean, you can't, and there's no cutting that. I think what you have to guard against. And it's funny. I have some editors in the newsroom I was explaining this to, and I have a piece on it tomorrow. I said, well, everybody that remembers 93 in Florida State, I was like, I went to Catholic school for 12 years, and one of the words you're not allowed to say is Glenn Foley, because it happened the next week with Boston College when he threw all over the place.
And Tom Coughlin. Yeah.
And Tom Coughlin's a bad word in a Catholic school sometimes. But, that's what they have to guard against this week. You have a Notre Dame transfer at quarterback that's played outstanding football this year. They have a guy that, follow me on this, if Michigan rides out Harbaugh for another year, Jeff Hafley could be that guy down the line. I think he's a rising star in the profession. And this is his big chance to show that Saturday.
My friend Brett was bringing up Luke Fickell the other day at Cincinnati as a possible candidate for the job at Michigan. Like, who else would know better how to beat Ohio State than the guy that was at Ohio State? And I said, no way at Michigan they would ever hire an Ohio State guy. And here's a guy who played there, coached there, and still is coaching in the state of Ohio. What's your take on all that?
In the first place, Bo was a Woody assistant at Ohio State. Ohio guy.
That is true. I forgot.
Gary Moeller was a captain at Ohio State. And I would argue...
Is that right? I didn't know that.
He was a captain under Woody at Ohio State. And I would argue...
Oh, wow.
And obviously, we all know the circumstances with how Moeller got fired. He was Michigan's best coach my lifetime. Because, I mean, after Bo, anyway. But if you watch, those were the teams that had Desmond Howard, Elvis Gerbach, NFL linemen. They lost some games they shouldn't have, but he was a heck of a coach. Now, to follow your point, though, here's why I think Luke won't go. I grew up, he's a couple years older than me here, and he grew up, what your listeners might not know, he is a wrestling legend in the state of Ohio. He was a really good wrestler at DeSales in Columbus. He was an awesome player on the football team. He spent most of his coaching career as an assistant at Ohio State. Obviously took over as the interim coach for 1 year. I think he has too much Ohio in him. And I say that, and I would think Luke Fickell has a better chance of building Cincinnati into a Boise State type thing than he does of resurrecting Michigan. That's just my personal opinion.
I don't think he wants to leave, and it's so close to Columbus, too. He's got so much family there. I think the only job he would leave for would be the Ohio State job if there's ever an opening in the next 10 or 15 years.
I would agree there and say Notre Dame. Maybe. Because of the Catholic school background, his son.
Yeah.
And I think that's Luke Fickell's ultimate play, is if Brian Kelly leaves Notre Dame, Fickell follows him there. Because he went to a Catholic school, too. His son is going to play for UC next year. These are the reasons that don't get put out there, right? When you see it on Twitter, this is all that background that you see that I've kind of, every time I hear Fickell, yeah, he'd be a great fit up there. He'd do a great job. But here are all the reasons why I don't think he would.
Last thing, Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Do you think that we could possibly see the Notre Dame experience now so positive in the ACC? If let's just say they go and they lose a close one in the championship game, and they both get into the playoff, that that Notre Dame will consider full membership in the ACC?
I think they should consider it because look what's happening with the other independents. BYU and Liberty are both undefeated, and if we're living in a realistic world, neither one of them will be in the playoffs no matter what. And I like that BYU team a lot. It's elevated both basketball programs. The Notre Dame's men's basketball team had a rough year last year, but they're better off in the ACC. Better for recruiting. You get to play against the best players in the best basketball conference in the country. It's better. Their women's program's outstanding and continues to be. And I've seen that up close. So football-wise, the question is, do you value that experience versus, in a non-pandemic year, the alumni are still going to want that USC game on the schedule. Personally, I love it when Notre Dame plays Big Ten teams, but that seems to be out the door now. So I mean, that USC game and the Service Academy games is really what they hold on to there. But I think if they go to the playoff and go to the championship game, there's not going to be an argument that this is better for the program.
I agree. As always, it is a pleasure chatting with you. Enjoy the games that are still on for this weekend.
Oh, no problem,
you, Bill.
guys. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you next week.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
Bill Bender.
You got it.
From the Sporting News.
Dave, if I told you 2 weeks from today, you're probably going in for thirds or fourths by now, not even seconds and leftovers. 2 weeks from today,
the bird?
Thanksgiving. Would you believe that?
I'm going for thirds, fourths, or fifths if it's going to be the bird from the commissary.
It's going to be the bird, the holiday bird from the commissary, either place, the Collierville commissary at Houston Levee and Poplar or the original in Germantown. You have 2 weeks to order your bird at 901-754-5540 or go online at commissarybarbecue.com. This is a guarantee. This is a Brett, Dave, Drew, Sports 56 lock of the year. You get this bird for the Thanksgiving holiday round, you will get it for the December holiday round. I can guarantee you. And while you're getting that bird, stock up on that barbecue like tonight. You want to go out and watch the game, you can get outside at Houston Levee and Poplar and watch the game from outside. Everything's safe, plenty of distance. Everything's safe with the employees at the commissary for sure. They'll deliver it out to you. They'll take very, very good care of you. And they appreciate you so much. That Memphis-style barbecue, those ribs, it's delicious. Begin that barbecue feast with the appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos that they are famous for. They are the originators of the barbecue nachos. Everything comes with beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can even order it by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. Don't forget the salad. This time of year, don't forget the Brunswick stew. Also good, and save room for dessert. When you order that bird for the holidays, order some of these pies. Order some of these desserts, like the banana pudding, the best lemon icebox pie I've ever had anywhere. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and Germantown. Walker Taylor, he's ready for the holidays. You need to get ready for the holidays with the bird from the Germantown or Collierville commissary.
I mentioned earlier we got a heck of a Thursday night football game. You can listen right here on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1. When we come back, we will pick the Colts at the Titans. That's right, around the corner.
You have opinions?
I think they got a lot of athletic ability.
We want to hear them.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Call us on the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 67129.
Spend the holidays at home this year with a little help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure has so many spas in stock and hundreds more on order. Now's your time to really save big. Huge savings on pool tables, game tables, arcades, massage chairs, and a whole lot more. Buy a pool now and save the 2021 price increase. Plus, you'll get early installation scheduling. The Holidays at Home sale happening now at Family Leisure, Whidden Road at I-40, where family and fun come together for the holidays.
Water damage to your home or business can be an absolute nightmare. And the faster you remove the standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They have been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They are a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They are always on call and will respond within an hour. They work with most insurance companies and are the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers home team. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services can't prevent disasters in your home and at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. Call 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390 or online at landmarkco.org.
Are you looking for a dependable car at a fair price and guaranteed financing approval? Then you need to make your way to Collierville Auto Center, where one price shopping is the name of the game. Family owned and operated, Collierville Auto Center has been in the business for over 20 years and is proud to serve the people of this area. Collierville Auto Center is stocked with over 50 units, including cars, trucks, SUVs, and Highlines. Looking for a particular type of vehicle? Collierville Auto Center offers a locator service with 72-hour turnaround service. With over 30 years in the automotive industry, industry, Scott and Martin would be happy to show you how their affordable pricing and guaranteed financing can work for you. Come see Scott and his professional staff of Terry, Branson, Q for your car needs. Conveniently located at 651 West Poplar Avenue, Collierville Auto Center is situated where Highway 72 meets Poplar and Collierville. Please look them up on the web at colliervilleautocenter.com. Call at 901-853-0240 or simply come and see them for an outstanding car buying experience. At Collierville Auto Center, they're here for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stotts. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
What I'm saying is, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up. Y'all got to feel me. Sing if you're with me, yeah.
Welcome in on a Masters Thursday. I can't wait till the top of the hour for sure. We will go to Augusta National. We'll talk with Rex Huggard from the Golf Channel on what has been a very busy and low scoring day at the Great Masters. In the meantime, we do have Thursday night football. Normally we have Friday football forecast, and we don't usually include the Thursday night game because it's usually not a great game. But this is about as good as it gets, and I'll be honest with you, I am having a hard time figuring out which way I am going to go in this game.
Well, Vegas was having a hard time setting this line. I have it right now at Tennessee minus 1.5. Mm-hmm. I've seen it at some places, Indianapolis minus 1.5. So when Vegas is having that much trouble, you better just sit back and enjoy it tonight. But we're going to pick it, and it's a good one tonight.
Do you think this year, and Drew, I ask you the same thing, a guy who is aficionado of watching these games, let's say. He says this year in the NFL is one of the tougher years to predict outcomes of games by lines. And I tend to think he's right.
I don't think it's ever easy. but this year is particularly tough. Really tough because just so many teams, the biggest time they're together is on game day.
Well, and you take a look at the Bears. They got one starting offensive lineman from the beginning of the year because of COVID. So you got COVID, you got injuries, you got opt-outs, you got so many different factors that upset chemistry. I think it's crazy, ridiculous.
And Thursday night's always been goofy, hasn't it?
It has. It has been different. I think it's because of lack of rest. I believe that plays a role in it. The last couple of years I was thinking, well, it was kind of new. Well, it's not so new now. And honestly, this is a premier matchup. We got a couple of really good matchups this week, but this is amongst the really good ones.
And two unlikely quarterbacks in these places. Ryan Tannehill, drafted at A&M, once was a wide receiver. Now he's firmly ensconced in Nashville. Phillip Rivers, not far from Nashville, growing up now in Indianapolis. He'll go in the Hall of Fame as a member of the Chargers, though. The Titans minus 1.5. I'll go first. I'll take my Titans.
Your Titans now.
What happened to your Lions?
Yeah. His Lions, his Steelers.
They've never been my team.
Anybody who's good, that's who he
my
goes
Titans,
with.
My A.J. Brown, my Ryan Tannehill,
I'll tell you
my
what,
Derrick Henry.
That A.J. Brown, man, he is good. There is no question.
Let me tell you, seriously, I got a friend of mine that works for the Titans since the 1st of July through the end of October. So July, September, October. 3 months, July, September, October. Tested for COVID and passed every test 94 times.
94 tests in 3 months? Is that what you're telling me?
94 times he's been tested and has never been positive.
So that's basically 31 times per month. That's every day.
That's every day.
Every day. That's crazy. I had no idea they were testing that much. I know,
My Titans.
For the Tigers bubbles like football or basketball, that's 3 times a week. But every day, wow, that is amazing. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go Phillip Rivers' way. I think Indy's defense is really, really terrific. The thing that throws you here, it's at Nashville. But you know what? There's nobody there.
What's that mean?
Yeah, I mean, is there really a home court, a field advantage? I think the Titans were very fortunate the way they beat the Bears last week. Honestly, I think they're a good team, not a great team. Probably the same thing could be said for the Colts. Colts defense is pretty darn good, though. I'm going to go with Indy. So we differ. Which way do you go, young Drew?
I'm going with the Titans tonight. I think they win. I think it's close. I think the Indianapolis Colts finally played a good team for the first time last week and shook their confidence, and the Titans handled the Bears easily. I don't know what game you were watching last week, but it was pretty easy for 3 out of 4 quarters. So Titans least by field goal.
They played 4 quarters, and the end result was a touchdown.
That was such subtle shade in there. Took a shot at you, Dave.
And
gave credit to his Ravens against the Colts. Drew, my goodness, we see you blossoming before our eyes as just throwing shade.
All in 25 seconds.
Fact check. Fact check. That's what we need to do on young Drew. This portion of the show is brought to you by Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions. We're supposed to have a lot of rain. We didn't, thank goodness, but we did have some high winds. And I want you to go just look up at your roof. When's the last time you checked it? Anything out of sorts there? Any shingles sort of loose? Weather can do that. If you call my guys, that's Brian Elder or Chris Price. Call me, Chris Price. Chris is involved now with Brian Elder Roofing Solutions. They want to come out and see if there's any kind of problem. Listen, they can measure your roof from outer space. They got the latest technology and equipment. They can do that, but they'd rather come out and show you. And if there's anything wrong, they don't just tear off a roof. They'll fix whatever needs to be done, but they'll also let the insurance company know if there's something that happened that was out of weather. So let them be the judge. They only use the best products on the market, and the best thing is their warranty, the no questions asked warranty. I think it is the best of any of the roofing contractors, period. So it's easy to get a hold of them. They got the coolest number. You know it by now. 901-867-0303. 901-867-0303. It's free to get a consultation. Please call Brian Elder Roofing Solution. We have 1 hour in the books. When we come back to Augusta National, we will go and we'll talk with Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel. He comes your way next.
Brian Smith, we love the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis.
Thanks, Stats. The fall months are always the best time to shop for both new and pre-owned cars. We're right in the middle of model year end change. The 2020s have got to go to make room for the new 2021 models, and we continue to trade for the best pre-owned cars in the city, all makes and models.
Service is one of y'all's hallmarks.
Our award-winning service department is adhering to all socially distanced safety precautions.
You can experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One with a Thursday night football preview. Week 10 begins in the Music City with the 6-2 Titans hosting the Indianapolis Colts. It's the first meeting of the season for the top 2 teams in the AFC South. Tennessee is coming off an impressive win over the Bears. Head coach Mike Vrabel after the game.
I think that we were at a crossroads here where we were going with our season. Coming off 2 losses, proud of the way the guys played, proud of the way they prepared. And then now the challenge is to forget about this one and take care of our bodies. The team that gets healthy the quickest and obviously prepares in the short amount of time that we have is going to have an advantage in the football game.
Phillip Rivers and the Colts are 5-3 coming off a loss to the Ravens. Tom McCarthy and Tony Baselli will call the action of the Colts at the Titans on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call clickgrainger.com/safety or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
James Davis is one of those stores that just says Memphis. It's an original. The finest men's clothing in Memphis can be found in the Laurelwood Shopping Center at James Davis. Let's start with the Stant custom fitting system. This is relatively new. You can only find it at James Davis Men's Store, and it's where you walk through the door. You're going to take 3 quick measurements, about 15 seconds, and then about a week later, you're going to get the perfect fitting shirt. I mean, in the neck where you can tie your ties comfortably, all kinds of colors, all kinds of fabrics. The same thing with pants. A couple of measurements. A week later, you've got a perfect fitting in the waist, in the leg, pair of pants that makes you feel good. And they still have the great Paul Battenley suit deal. 2 for $7.95. You look great on Zoom calls. Sweaters and pullovers, perfect for eating outside. The best place to go for men's clothing in Memphis. It's simple. James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet?
When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured, are not bank guaranteed, and may lose value.
Join Sports 56 Middays this Friday from 10 to 1 at Edwin Watts, 5985 Poplar Avenue near Target. Titleist is launching the new TSI line of drivers and fairway woods this weekend. They're having a Titleist rep in-store Friday from 10 to 3 doing fittings on these new clubs. Edwin Watts will have some prizes to give away, and we'll be giving away Ole Miss football tickets as well. That's this Friday from 10 to 1 at Edwin Watts in the Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center on Poplar between Ridgeway and 240. Mask up, Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in on a gorgeous Thursday afternoon in Memphis, Tennessee. It's gorgeous. At Augusta National 2, Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel is going to join us here in just a couple of minutes today, filled with interesting stories, including that delay at Augusta and then everybody going crazy. We'll get into that in a second. Penny Hardaway met the press today and says we should have a schedule soon. And he does think Moussa Cisse will be able to play. He'll be eligible by the time the season starts. Brady White became a finalist for the William Campbell Trophy. That is the academic Heisman Trophy. He's already got $12,000 in his pocket. And so did Memphian Cameron Kinley, who is, I think, the president of the senior class at Navy, the Memphian. He also was a finalist for the Campbell, and that means he gets $12,000. It's a tough day around the world for COVID. 500,000 new cases. That was earlier today. In the United States, 140,000 yesterday. We had 75,000 by noon, so we'll have over 100,000. And so, again, I keep bringing this out. It is still here, folks, so please take all of your safety precautions. And one of the I hate to say this, but one of the victims of COVID today was Lausanne High School. Lausanne was unfortunately testing and found one positive case, and that led to them having to shut things down, and they will forfeit their playoff game against Trent Dilfer's team in Lipscomb in Nashville. So that is the end of the football season for Lausanne High School. In the meantime, let's go down south. Let's go to Augusta, Georgia. Rex Hoggard is at Augusta National. And what a day today. I mean, these guys had to wait a little bit, and then the fireworks truly began, Rex. The way my math is right now as I look at this leaderboard, 48 under par, 63 are even par. Did you expect this kind of thing? I guess we didn't know what to expect in the fall in November at the Masters. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I usually don't take victory laps, certainly not, when the first round's still not in the books. However, we did kind of a punch-out thing last night on golfchannel.com, and the winning score that I picked was, I believe it was 14 or 15, one of those two, under par, and that's very, very low for Augusta. However, and I know it's long, and I know we've talked all week long about how a November Masters is going to play so much different than an April Masters, but these guys are so good, and if they can stick the balls like they were today on the greens, if they could be aggressive, Xander Schauffele was talking about, look, there were shots out there that he has never even considered hitting at the Masters because the greens were holding and you could be aggressive and go after shots. If anything, it made it a little bit more challenging putting-wise because normally you're worried about these putts getting away from you and you're playing so much break and trying to be creative. And a lot of guys are coming up short and on the high side. You're trying to figure out what's going on. So there was a bit of a learning curve. But no, this is what I expected. These guys are very, very good. And if you can put them on a golf course where the conditions allow them to be aggressive, they will.
Rex, will the course record 63 that I know Nick Price has a piece of, and I think one or two others, will it go down? Will somebody go 62 or lower?
I don't know about that one because it doesn't look like any more rain, and so this course will dry out, and Augusta does have the ability to pull some of the moisture from the ground because with the help of sub air, and it's going to get a little bit cooler. So that would help it that would help it dry out a little bit more. So it's not going to get any easier from here. So I would be surprised if we saw that.
By the way, Justin Thomas started today, birdied 4 of the first 5 holes. I thought he might get it today.
He might prove me wrong this afternoon, and certainly Justin has firepower to do that. I just think that eventually Augusta National bites back, and I think that'll happen.
Rex, if I had to make a bet with you, let's say we went down to that great hospitality area that normally is behind 12T. I love that area. It moves so quickly, and our bet was a simple Coca-Cola, a bag of potato chips, and a pimento cheese sandwich. Will we
cheap
have
bet, by the way.
The real? Will we have the real Masters as we know and love it in April of 2021?
So we're making a $3.50 bet. Okay, because we all know how cheap things are here at Augusta when you want to eat. All right, it sounds like a good bet. I'm probably not going to take that bet. It's going to be closer. I truly believe it's going to be closer than where we are right here. And I give Augusta National and everyone else in golf credit for getting us to this point. That if you'd asked me 6 months ago, do you think we'll play the Masters this year? I'd have been like, no, probably not. It's just a different world we live in, and there's certain things. I listened to the report that you guys just gave. My kids play high school football, and in my mind, I'm thinking how heartbroken those poor kids must be that they can't play their playoff game. That being said, I think the chairman pointed out yesterday, that's 5 months away, and we see how quickly things will move when it comes to this. And we also saw last week in Houston on the PGA Tour a limited number of fans, and I think we're going to start inching in that direction. Now, will we have the full complement of patrons next April? I doubt that. I just don't think we'll be quite there yet, but I think we'll be close enough that you'll get a little bit of the buzz and you'll get a little bit of the excitement.
If I'm going to make a bet with you, I'm going to go a little further down that fairway. I'm going to go to the souvenir shop. We're going to get a towel. We're going to get a flag. We're going to get a sweater, and we're going to get a shirt. Now, that's like a $5,000 bet.
Well, yeah, now you're dropping a couple $100. Now you're making me nervous.
Cashmere sweater, Dave. You're going to spend that big?
I'm kidding. It may be cheap for the food, but it costs you for the souvenirs. No doubt about it. I guess my bet might be this. We've never seen a winner with 4 rounds in the 60s, and we got so many guys in the 60s now. Rex Hoggard, will this year's champion pull off that feat?
Whew, that's an even better one. I'm going to say that could happen. Yeah, I would probably take that bet simply because, as I said, I feel it's going to dry out. It's going to get more and more difficult. We all know what they're able to do with this golf course, but that's a challenge. I think what you're going to do is you're going to challenge one player not to have an off day, and I don't think that happens very often. Certainly you look at the guys on top of the leaderboard, and they're all world-class players, but you also go through their card. Today Tiger Woods amassed his best first round ever at Augusta. So that gives you an idea of how it's playing. So I would have to say yes, there's a very real possibility that could happen, but it would be impressive nonetheless.
Since you bring him up,
Rex, I promise you, we are not gambling degenerates. We are not. We talk a bigger game than we actually are. Now, at one time in my life, I was. Dave never has been. But here's the easiest bet. Staying on the kind of that end of the property, Chairman Ridley basically said, we're back in 13 up to tips that you've never seen before. They've owned the property for a while, and it may not be for next April, but it's coming sooner rather than later. They want 13 to have the teeth in it that is originally designed by Alistair McKenzie and Bobby Jones.
Yes, the chairman usually doesn't go out on limbs like that and make definitive statements, at least when it comes to these types of things. But he was pretty clear on that one, wasn't he? That, yes, they don't like the way 13's playing right now. When they see Bryson DeChambeau take it over the trees and have a pitching wedge in, that's what prompted the first Tiger proofing, if I remember correctly. Back in 1997, when Tiger had a wedge into that hole, I believe that's what got things in motion for the first overhaul. And they have the resources to do it. He did launch into the bigger conversation about something needs to be done about distance, whatever that is. I mean, I'm not very good when it comes to that conversation. However, I will say, and being a member of the media, I am guilty of this, that we fixated on Bryson for the first 3 days this week, and he did put together a 200 par card today, which was decent. However, he didn't do it by overpowering the golf course, and there is still something special about this golf course.
And he made a mess of 13. That's the hole he double bogeyed, the one that he thought he was going to be able to overpower. We'll see how that plays out. And he didn't play well, and he was 2 under. That's how good he truly is. You mentioned Tiger Woods a little while ago. Let's go back to Tiger. That's the first time in 105 rounds that he didn't have a bogey in a major championship. That's impressive there. Can he put together 4 rounds? Could he really defend his title?
I have the full disclosure here. I mean, we did a podcast on Tuesday night, and it did not age well because neither one of us on the podcast thought Tiger had any chance. So I'm really hoping they got rid of that and took that down. I don't want it coming back to bite me. I did not have very high expectations for Tiger. When you look at the bogey-free is the part. I mean, you touched on it. The fact that he was able, it was a boring round. It was a 4 under par round. It's tied for the best opening round ever at the Masters. It puts him right into the hunt, and he was kind of nonchalant about it because I don't think he did anything really special to pull that round off. It seemed like the kind of old Tiger Woods where Stuart Sink once described it as him playing a prevent defense, that I'm just going to keep creeping along and you're going to have to find a way to beat me. That's concerning for the rest of the field because I think that's an eye-opener considering the year Woods had. I don't think many people thought that he'd be in the conversation very much this week. He has the institutional knowledge, and if he's going to be able to control his golf ball like that, I mean, winning back-to-back at this age after everything he's done, it would be amazing.
Every hole he remains in it. I mean, at the 36-hole mark, he's a little bit closer. At 54 and then 8 or 10 holes left on Sunday, just every second he stays in it plays to his advantage. But one thing he won't have will be that throng. I didn't go Jack Whitaker and say what got Jack Whitaker in trouble, calling him a mob. I didn't say the patrons were a mob, but that throng in 2019 that really pushed him over the finish line. Do you think he misses that? He misses the fan and the patron support?
Oh, no doubt about it. It's been a challenge for him, and he's been outspoken about it, and other players have as well. Rory's been outspoken. Paul Casey, your leader today. I've had numerous conversations with Paul about how he came to me at the PGA Championship with his arms in the air. I hate this. Like, this is not what I signed up for. And we're all doing what we have to do. He understands that. He's very grateful for the opportunity. But, I mean, competing in an empty field is not what these guys dreamt about when they were growing up. You dream about the crowd. You dream about the cheers. You dream about the roars rattling off the trees. That's what makes the Masters. We've been doing this since June without fans, and it has reached some sort of surreal normal. I will say that. Even at the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open, it didn't feel right. But we're here. This is where we're at. This week is different. We're walking the golf course just on Monday, the back nine, and just not having anyone around, not even having the ropes up is what kind of threw me off the most in a weird way. You'd think that'd be great, but it was like, no, like I needed, like I'm almost like a Pavlovian dog where I needed the ropes to show me where I was supposed to walk. It was very disorienting for me. So I think that's going to be one of the huge challenges for Tiger going to the weekend because, look, he doesn't react very much to it. He doesn't show much emotion when it comes to the crowd. However, it is a big part of who he is, and he appreciates it.
I think it is a huge advantage to guys like, let's say, Colin Morikawa, who's never really been there, because the favorites are the ones that get all the cheers, and they become the ones that are intimidators because of it, and that's not happening. I don't know what the reaction for Paul Casey would be. And you mentioned that, these are all world-class guys at the top. Casey 7 under, Simpson and Schauffele are 5 under. And boy, Xander was a runner-up a couple of years ago. I think this guy is in prime position. But there's a guy at 2 under, and I'm not talking DeChambeau, that really intrigues me. I don't think he could do this for 4 days. But what about Bernard Langer? How does this guy continue to play so good? He's 2 under through 9 today.
I go back to what I said about Tiger. There's an institutional knowledge, and every year it's either Bernard or Freddie or, I don't know, pick one of the other. Larry Mize, I think, did it a few years ago. One of these guys comes off the PGA Tour champions and is able to put together 1, 2, maybe even 3 good rounds and put themselves in a contention. And it's all about knowing where to miss, knowing what drives you can miss, and knowing what putts you can make. That's kind of the way I just described it in the column when it comes to Tiger Woods. And it's all sort of the same DNA. They have played this place enough times, and they know enough about it that it gives them a very, very distinct edge over the young players, all the young players that you just mentioned. Now, that being said, I was curious how much of that was going to factor into play, because I felt like this week it was going to be as close to a PGA Tour course, and I know that's blasphemy, but as close to a PGA Tour course as we've seen, simply because of the conditions. The greens are slower than they've ever seen, players said today. The fairways, they're a little shaggy. There's actually rough outside the rough line. All those things are probably going to get me in trouble. But it's true. That's exactly what's going on. So I didn't know if maybe that edge was going to be there, but certainly Tiger took advantage of it, and Langer's doing it again.
Rex, for you as a columnist, as a reporter, this week has got to be very special, whether it's in April or in this crazy year. All synopses have to be firing. Do all the columns and all the reports just write themselves? How much good stuff this week do you leave on the floor that goes unused?
Well, there's a bunch of good reporting that goes unused, and whether that's from me or others, there's just tons and tons of things that guys say that you're like, oh, that's brilliant. You write it down, and then you don't see it again for 3 weeks, and you try to figure out why you didn't write it. Easy is not a word I would use. I don't think I've ever been more panic-stricken in my entire adult life than sitting down at the laptop in 2019 on Sunday, trying to figure out how do you write this one. I think the great line from Dan Jenkins, the great journalist, when Jack won here in '86, when he sat down at his laptop, was too big to write, and that's the way I felt for Tiger.
Yeah. Huh. You mentioned earlier Larry Mize. Larry Mize finished 2 under today, and he was playing. He wasn't playing with DeChambeau, but there's 2 holes apparently, and only 2 that they are measuring long drives. And on those 2 holes, and both these guys finished 2 under today, Larry Mize's average drive was 87 yards shorter than Bryson DeChambeau. You would never get this at any other place, right? And it's because past champions get to play, but where a guy could be that much further behind because of age and now this youth thing and DeChambeau's a little different than anybody else anyway. But think about that. 87 yards per drive on average. That's the distance difference between DeChambeau and Mize.
Yeah, it's actually less than I thought it was going to be. DeChambeau might have hit a 3-wood off that tee, because and it's funny, I know, but like when you hear John Rahm murders the ball, he hits it a mile. When he starts talking about there being 20 and 30 yards between his good drive and Bryson's drive, he goes, that shocks him a little bit. It is a little stark. And, I kind of said that the media, including myself, was guilty of sort of fixating on Bryson and his length early in the week. I don't know it on this particular golf course if he's really chasing the right nugget there, but certainly at Winged Foot it was, and certainly in the bigger picture of his career it is, because what he is doing has the possibility of redefining the game, and I don't think that's overstating it, because he's hitting it in places that even the longest on the PGA Tour would never consider.
I guess last thing for you, and we really truly appreciate you giving us your time today as they start to wind down things in Augusta. Give us the guy you think's going to win this thing.
Well, I take Dustin, and I don't know that I'm willing to come off that pick just yet. I know, I think he started his day 7 strokes off the lead. It's a little weird way to start your Masters week. Yeah. But I still like Dustin, and I think we're going to see something. Justin Thomas, as you pointed out, was 4 under through 5 holes. I think he would be on anybody's list. Simply the way he's playing, he has the power. It's a soft golf course. Rory, is another one that I really believe he's going to win one of these eventually. So why not this year?
Dustin, just so you know, DJ is 3 under now through 8, so he's on the
pretty good.
9th hole. That is definitely in the mix. Rex, can't thank you enough again. We truly appreciate you joining us today. Enjoy. Not many members of the press are able to go to Augusta National, so happy that you got to be one of those guys.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Talk to you guys soon.
Yep.
Thank you.
What a good job he is doing.
Great job.
Is for certain. And, there's so many great, as he's saying, how many things get left unsaid, how many great pieces of writing.
Yeah, what an answer about writing that column last year. It's just so big. I didn't know Dan Jenkins had said that about 86. It's almost too big to kind of boil down. And on Sunday, if you had to write that lead or be ready for that stand-up on Tiger doing it yet again, how would you approach it? Dave, I think I have counted 6 former Memphis winners playing in this year's Masters. If there's somebody that can find a 7th, let me know. Larry Mize, one of them. Fred Couples, one of them. Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and Lee Westwood, even though he won in Memphis and he still wears the wrong logo.
Well, they still pay him. That's why. You mentioned DJ. I'm trying to look at this whole leaderboard. I'm sure you're right. I don't think there's anybody else.
I haven't cross-checked it. If somebody can find a 7th, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Perfect.
We wish Phil Mickelson had. He came close
a
couple of times.
Dadgum him.
Danny Willett has played here. That's about all I can
for
say.
that matter.
Yeah, Roy for sure. And Roy's had some chances. Unfortunately, Brooks
Jordan Spieth
knocked
has
him
played
off.
here, but didn't win.
Nope.
But Mize, Couples, Thomas, Johnson, Koepka, and Westwood, the 6 that I could find.
Yep, that's it.
I
just went through it. That is it. All right.
Dave, I tell you a young player you need to keep an eye on. I think he was 2 under a little bit ago.
Nate
I don't know what he
Lashley?
is now. No. Amateur John Augustine plays at Vanderbilt, and I saw him in an epic match on a blistering hot Sunday afternoon at the Arnold Palmer Cup at the Alotian Club in West Little Rock, and he was playing Luis Ortiz, who is from Costa Rica but played college golf at LSU, and both of them shot 67 to have the match. And, I mean, you talking about a Rembrandt of golf for both of them. But young Augustine, we're going to hear a lot from him, and just the nicest young man.
He is 1 under. Is he playing with Mickelson? Because they're both 1 under through 10. And there's no asterisk there. So
he may be.
He might be. I question for you, which is more likely? A defense of his title for Tiger Woods or a rookie in his first ever opportunity to play at Augusta, Colin Morikawa winning? Which one, odds-wise,
I know what Drew
would you
wants.
pick?
I'm gonna go with Tiger since it's been since '79 for somebody to kind of fit that MO.
Drew,
kind of the fuzzy.
Don't say because you picked him in the second spot.
Well, I mean,
which do you think is more logical?
Probably Tiger, just the way that he started off today, only 3 strokes off the lead with the 4 under. And Morikawa right now, even through 10, not looking all that great. But I'd have to say Tiger, because if there is a place where Tiger, like we saw last year, Tiger can truly become old Tiger, it's Augusta.
Yes, sir. All right. We have to take a quick time out. When we come back, we will shift gears. And we will talk NFL football. We got a game Thursday night, that is for sure, with our friend Russell Copeland. In the meantime, I'll let you know our title sponsor for this hour of the program. We're proud to have a company as tremendous as this to be with us for as long as they have been, and that's Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch, and the new GV80. That's the Genesis SUV we have been waiting for over a year to get. Some have likened it to a car that is a $300,000 car. That's what they're thinking about this car. The new GV80 will be at Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis of Olive Branch next week if barring there's any incident at sea, because they're coming. They've left the port. They're on the way here. And I've been telling you, because a couple of cars ago I had a Genesis G70. That's the little sedan, kind of like a sports car. You put it in sport mode. It's the fastest thing I've ever seen. And it actually changes sort of the frame and the setup so you can take curves fast. They've got a couple on sale. They're 20s because the 2021s are all coming in. These are 20s, and they are lowering the price, and they're giving you this opportunity, 0% financing for 72 months. You can have a Genesis luxury car. It's affordable if you get to my friends at Genesis of Olive Branch, same building as Homer Skelton Hyundai, and you do it right away. And you know, with every new Hyundai and with every new Genesis car, that could be the 90, the 70, the new SUV, you get a 10-year lifetime limited powertrain warranty up to 100,000 miles, and you will now get a 3-year, 36,000 maintenance package. It's here. That's the way they do business. They have raised the bar. Right on Lamar, into Mississippi, Craft Road, your first exit, turn left. You want technology, they've got that durable technology, and you know how good the Hyundais are. All these 2020 Hyundais, they tied for the top most safety picks of any car from Auto Trader. The service, the product, the safety, the technology, you can't beat it. You cannot beat Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Back in a minute with our friend Russell Copeland. He comes your way next.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whq.com.
Tom McCarthy here from Westwood One with a Thursday night football preview. A great matchup coming up between two of the top teams in the AFC South, the Titans and the Colts. Derrick Henry and Tennessee outlasted the Bears last Sunday to move to 6-2. Now they face Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis, who dropped to 5-3 last weekend with a loss to the Ravens. Colts head coach Frank Reich says the win-loss difference for them this year is obvious.
We didn't win the turnover battle, and you lose the turnover battle, the chances of losing go up significantly, especially against a good football team. And so we got to do a better job there. When we've won the turnover battle, we win. And when we haven't, we've lost.
Tony Baselli and I will have the call from Nashville when the Titans host the Colts on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
At Lowe's, we're giving a special thanks to our pros during our Provember event, now through November 25th. We have deals and events, plus credit programs that work for pros. We're offering everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases. Plus, through March 31st, 2021, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account, or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or at lowesforpros.com. You'll see why we're the new home for pros. Subject to credit approval, terms apply, U.S. only.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Buy your next car or truck at Streamline Auto Smart. Your next smart decision. All credit welcome. Drive off in your new low-mileage pre-owned car or truck. From low-end cars to the most luxurious sports car. Ask about the 48-hour vehicle locator. Let Streamline Auto Smart do the looking for you. Close your deal within 1 hour. No waiting. It's quick and easy at Streamline Auto Smart. Your next smart decision. 2558 Mount Moriah. Call Streamline Auto Smart 901-235-8845. Your next smart decision.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in halfway through our show. And don't forget tonight, the Colts at the Titans. You can listen to that game, 7 o'clock, right here on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1. Well, I'm a little disappointed. I was going to work this week with Russell Copeland. We were going through Baltimore, going to have some crab cakes there, and then on to Annapolis, and we were going to watch Memphis versus Navy, but this is a topsy-turvy world. Russell Copeland will have to wait another time to go see the Tigers play the Middies in Annapolis, maybe before this year is out. Who knows? How are you holding up today?
Well, I'm doing okay, Dave. And as you mentioned, really was looking forward to seeing the Tigers and visiting there in Maryland. But hopefully, we'll get a chance to make that trip before the year is out.
In the meantime, there is a really good game tonight in Nashville. Colts at the Titans. Titans, one of the teams that was a surprise at the end of last year, and even though they hit a couple of rough bumps here, they're still very much in the mix to be a playoff team. And the Colts have one of the best defenses in the National Football League. How do you think this game plays out today?
Well, you got the 5-3 Colts against the Titans 6-2, and as you mentioned, the Titans pretty much have picked up where they left off. When I look at the Colts, my former teammate Frank Reich, I think he has this football team playing a whole lot better, but I think the emphasis has been at the quarterback position. They replaced Brissett. I thought Brissett was going to be the quarterback of the future. You come in with Phillip Rivers, and I don't think Phillip Rivers has a whole lot left in the tank, and I think he's had to rely on his defense. And they've had some injuries just like everyone else, but I think this is going to be a physical football game and the type of game that the Titans want to play. They have, to me, arguably the most physical, most dominant running back in the game with Derrick Henry. They're getting their players back. They get their big play, A.J. Brown, back. He's shown what he can do. They throw the ball to the tight end, and they have a defense that is coming together. I think it'll be a physical game. I like the Titans.
Russell, I just we have a weird kind of connection with you. I don't know. It's echoey. I don't know if you're on speakerphone and you're not close enough. But if we could get a little bit closer, maybe that would improve the quality of the sound.
Can you hear me better now?
Much better, 100% better. Thank you so much. So you
much
like?
Better. Thank you, Russell. And tonight with the Titans, they are a run-first team. They got all the way to the AFC Championship game last year, but when they have to, Tannehill can make the throws, Russell.
Tannehill has definitely been a surprise, but, you know, this football team is run-first oriented, and they go how Derrick Henry goes, but they're able to get in the flats. They're able to run some bootlegs to get Tannehill outside, and they got Corey Davis, former first-round pick, and A.J. Brown is their big play guy. But what has made the difference to me on this offense has been their tight end, Smith. He's made a lot of big plays for him. He's been the safety blanket. And when I look at them on defense, I think they got Jadeveon Clowney. I think now they're coming together. They're gelling. But this is the type of football game that the Titans want to play. They want to play a smash-mouth type of game. They want to run the football with Derrick Henry, and I think it's going to be right in their alley. And I like the Titans in a tough game, but give me the Titans.
The only team halfway through this National Football League season that is undefeated is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were very, very fortunate to beat Dallas the other day. Big Ben got beaten up in that game, showed us some kind of moxie he's got. He can play through pain. Now he's got a COVID issue. I don't know what his status will be for the coming week. How good are the Pittsburgh Steelers? Are they a championship team?
They definitely are, and simply because they play defense. They can match up very well with anyone, and they match up on all three levels of their defense. Their defensive line, they can rush the passer with Watt. They have linebackers that can run sideline to sideline, and their secondary is probably one of the best secondaries that play together. That puts them in the championship. But also, in order to win a championship, you have to have a quarterback. If Big Ben is back healthy, he shows what he means to this football team. After being injured late in the first half, he still was able to drive that football team down and score some points before he went in before the halftime. They can run the football. They've got some wide receivers. This is a tough team. And I like this football team because they can play smash mouth, because they play in a smash mouth division, or they can throw the football around. I think they have the type of team that can match up with the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, we've talked about a run first team in the Titans. We've talked about a defensive first team in the Steelers. Either one of those teams really going to beat Kansas City, especially if it's at Arrowhead?
Well, Kansas City definitely is the favorite, and you look at them adding Le'Veon Bell, and we know what Patrick Mahomes can do, but you also have to understand matchup makes games, and when you look at Kansas City last year, they were behind in all playoff games. They had to come from behind. They played against the Texans, and they were down by 21 points. They played against the Titans. They were behind. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, can pose the type of game that the Titans posed for them last year in that championship game. Kansas City can score a lot of points, but I tell you what, I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they get matched up together, I like how the Pittsburgh Steelers can match up with Kansas City.
Wow. So you go along the same lines with our friend Jeff Moore. He believes in the Steelers, too, and thinks, I guess, their defense is a better neutralizer than that prolific offense. Interesting. There's another great game later on Sunday, and that is Buffalo and Arizona. And now all of a sudden, I think we're starting to believe that Arizona is really a pretty darn good football team. They're 5-3 halfway through. They're just about a lock to make the playoffs. But now they're taking on this Buffalo team that's won their division pretty much, and they're 7-2. So you got two young quarterbacks, Allen and Murray. How do you break down this game?
Well, I talked about Buffalo before the year started, and I thought they would win their division, and they are showing that. And I like the maturation process of Allen. He is protecting the football. He knows when to throw. He knows when to run, and he's not making those mistakes. And they have a defense. Their defense is coming together. I think it'll be a great game. They have to travel, though. That does concern me when you're going from one coast to the other coast. And when I look at Murray, I thought that Arizona would be a team that would be a thorn in a lot of people's sides, and they have shown that. But Murray has really shown a lot of maturation in his first year to his second year. He's throwing the football, he's running with the football, and he has an outstanding defense. This will be a good football game. But I think the Buffalo Bills, from top to bottom, they have a veteran team. They have a veteran quarterback now in his third year. They have a good defense. I think they can neutralize what Murray does. And I think that will be the difference and get him to turn the football over. He's been great, but he also has turned the football over. I like the Buffalo Bills.
The Panthers on Sunday host the Buccaneers. If the Panthers, and they're improved under Matt Rule in his first year, fresh from college, Temple and Baylor, we know the background. If they were to upset Tampa Bay, are we in full-bore panic about Tom Brady?
Most definitely. It just shows you how the National Football League can change from week to week. When you look at them last week before they played the New Orleans Saints, people were already putting them in the Super Bowl before you even get Antonio Brown on the field. You look at them a few weeks ago, they dominated against the Green Bay Packers, and that's how they were dominated with the Saints. The key to their success, in my opinion, is going to have some balance. You can't win football games if you only run the ball 5 times. They only ran the football 5 times against the New Orleans Saints. And it's easy for you to look at all those weapons and say, hey, let's throw the football around. But you can't have a 43-year-old quarterback throwing the football 40, 45 times. They have to get some balance. I think it'll be a good game between Carolina. I love what they're doing there. They've been competitive. Bridgewater, so happy for him to get back. But I think the Bucs put it together. And I think, guys, one reason when you look at the Bucs, they haven't had an opportunity to put all of these weapons together. It's been one injury after the next, but I still think the Bucs will have a lot to say so once the playoffs start. Give me the Bucs.
So you're not putting this on Brady. You're putting this more on the play calling, lack of balance.
I'm actually putting it on both. Yes, it is the play calling, but when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, you want him to throw the football. And I like what Bruce Arians came out and said because he held his quarterback accountable. Even though he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, he's probably go, if he can yell and he can scream at his teammates, then when he doesn't play well, you have to hold them accountable. But yes, you cannot put your quarterback, Hall of Fame or not, in that type of situation where you do not run the football. Run the ball with Jones, get some balance, and then you can use all of those weapons. But I think they get it together. That's why you have Tom Brady as your leader. That's why you have Bruce Arians as your head coach. They can mesh together and lead what we'll call a great game. I like them to get back on track.
Russell, do you think this is the last ride for good or for not so good for Drew Brees and the Saints?
I think regardless, I said it early in the year, I think Drew Brees rides off into the sunset. And you guys looked at me as I was crazy when I said I like the New Orleans Saints to go to the Super Bowl. And Dave, to talk about, we said earlier about Pittsburgh Steelers, I love the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I love how they match up, but I still picked Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl against the New Orleans Saints. But I love that matchup. I think overall Patrick Mahomes wins. But when I look at what's going on now with the New Orleans Saints, they're getting their people together. Drew Brees is underappreciated. They say, well, all he does is dink and dunk, but he can drive the 2-minute offense. That's what he's been doing the past 3-4 years. He's got a defense that's playing well. They're getting healthy on the back end. Their defensive line is putting some pressure. The New Orleans Saints are right where I thought they would be at this time of the year.
They are absolutely terrific. One game Monday night, I got to ask you about that. The Bears, who are, well, they just don't have an offensive line, and the Vikings that seem to be getting better. How do you break down that game?
Well, I've been on your Bears bandwagon except for the past couple of weeks. And, Dave, I think the most important thing for them, they have to get something out of the quarterback position on a consistent level. Nick Foles has been inconsistent. They have the weapons. They look good for a quarter. They don't look good for a quarter. The play calling has been suspect. But what keeps them in the football game is their defense. When I look at the Vikings, I said the Vikings will have an off year because they simply lost too much. They are playing better because they've got that grown man that runs the football and Cook. I think he's probably the best purest runner at the running back position, but I still like the Chicago Bears. I think they have enough defense. Kirk Cousins does not have a whole lot of weapons since he lost Diggs. Justin Jefferson has been a big surprise. But to give me the Chicago Bears with a good defensive battle, I don't think the Vikings have enough overall. I think they got Cook, and I think the Bears can stop that running game. The Bears get back 2 games over 500.
Do you hear that, guys? Russell Copeland knows his stuff. The Bears are not dead yet.
Dave, when Russell speaks, I listen.
Well, you just heard him speak, my friend. And he's a believer. I'm not a believer in Nagy.
He did.
That is for sure. But anyway, Russell, you take care, my friend. I'm sure going to miss you Saturday. I promise you that.
Please take care.
I will. Thank you, guys.
Russell Copeland
thank
on
you,
the
Russell.
National Football League. I will let you know this.
Who are you picking Monday night, Dave?
I'm picking. You want to know now, or you going to wait till Monday night?
We'll wait till Monday. We'll wait till the big 5:30 moment on Monday.
I think it's only fair. I would just tell you this, unless there's more injuries. Or
Dave, you
lost
asked for
linemen.
it earlier this year. You asked for this, so we've had the Bears on Monday night, so we've been through their quarterbacks. Monday, we will do Bears running backs.
Oh,
and we know who 1 and 2 are.
Well, we know that, and that's tough. But I would have to go 40. Then 34.
Save it.
40
save
and then
it.
34. Just so you know. And I'm picking the Bears Monday
Walter
night.
Payton retired as the leading rusher in the history of the NFL.
I know. That's how great Gale Sayers was. Injury curtailed.
Think of the great kick returners, and I think they've got a good one now in Patterson through the years that the Bears have had.
Hester's the best.
They had Gale Sayers. Mm-hmm. They had Willie Gault.
Yeah.
They had Hester. I think Patterson's explosive in the return game.
He makes bad decisions. I'm not as high on him as you are, but I'm high on the Bears Monday night.
I don't like a 2-cut guy on a punt return. 1 cut and then go.
Oh, that's the way it's got to be.
It's the way it's got to be.
Yeah.
Every coach ever has taught it that way.
Well,
1 cut and go.
That ball hangs in the air really a long time, and it doesn't travel as far as a kick. So guys are back there, and they're ready to hit. And you've also got the decision-making you have to have with a punt as to whether or not you're really going to go for it. And we'll see. Well, Patterson doesn't do that part. He's just a kick returner. But that would be an interesting category. That would be hard to find for every team. But the Bears have some great ones. But you're right. Running back, we got some good ones. Guys that you've never even heard of that could be on that list, like Ronnie Bull when they won the championship in '63.
I've heard of him from Baylor. Come on, Dave.
He was on
like
that team.
I've heard of Ronnie Bull.
I know you heard of the guy from Wake Forest, but that's only because they made a movie
Brian
about
Piccolo.
him. Yeah.
Come on, Dave. Like I hadn't heard from him. If you've heard of him, I've heard of him, Dave.
Really? We'll test you on Monday, my friend. We'll test you on Monday. This portion of our program is brought to you by Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Ken knows it's a big decision. What are you going to do? Are you going to build that dream home? Maybe you're going to take that older home. You don't want to move. You love the lot. You love the location. It fits you like an old shoe, but you want modern amenities. You want California closets. You want that big island in the kitchen. You want those granite cabinets and countertops. Okay. Ken Garland, he's done it all. He and his dad, for 50 years, they have built palaces around Memphis. They really have. Go to kengarland.com. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And, you know, if you're looking for land, he's got it. Maybe you've got land to build that perfect dream home. Okay. He can absolutely figure out how to best optimize that land to bring you your masterpiece palace. I'm not kidding. He understands it's a big commit you're making. He works with you very closely, on time, quality construction every time. Go to kengarland.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. Then get a hold of him. He's a rare individual. Sees little details, but big picture all at the same time. Go see him. Go talk to him. Get that dream home. Talk to Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. We take a break, and when we come back, we'll update you on what is happening at Augusta. That comes your way next.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hey, sports fans, you already know about the great steaks at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse, a Memphis tradition since 1981. They specialize in hand-cut aged beef right over that hickory charcoal. But did you know the Butcher Shop also has great seafood items, from fresh Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, pan-seared red snapper with sautéed shrimp and Cajun cream sauce, Canadian cold water lobster tails, crab stuffed shrimp, homemade lump crab cakes, and a whole lot more. Oh, and don't forget the Fresh Burger Fridays for only $8.95. Come in, enjoy a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop. If you need a great private party, the Butcher Shop is your place. 6 different private rooms, seating from 12 to 250, all equipped with audio-visual. Rehearsals, business dinners, luncheon, weddings. You call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or you can visit the website at butchershop.com. Just drop in, 107 South Germantown Parkway.
Hi, this is Jarrett Carter, owner of East Memphis Ace Hardware. I want to thank everyone in East Memphis and beyond who helped make our first year a success. So what makes us different? First, we carry local products from barbecue sauces, rubs, and seasonings to local sourced honey. And our garden center is supplied by local growers here in Shelby and Fayette counties. Some of our unique services include glass cutting, plexiglass cutting, and screen repair. East Memphis Ace Hardware has a full-time locksmith and state-of-the-art Duracell key fob replacement center. We make duplicate keys, and our locksmith service can rekey locks to match your existing home. East Memphis Ace Hardware carries one of the largest varieties of grills and grilling accessories, including Big Green Egg, Traeger pellet grills, Weber, and many more. And if you prefer to order online at acehardware.com, select Ship to our store for free shipping. East Memphis Ace Hardware is proud to carry Benjamin Moore paint, Chip and Joanna Gaines branded Magnolia home paint, as well as Memphis' own Amy Howard furniture and hobby paint. East Memphis Ace Hardware is committed to customer service, and our selection of national brands is bar none. I want to wish everyone a safe and Merry Christmas from all of us at East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince Road.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
My world was strapped against
Welcome back in as we kind of cruise through this gorgeous Thursday afternoon. Don't forget, Thursday night football, Colts and Titans. It'll be right here on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1. Leaderboard looks just like giants of the industry at Augusta. There was a delay today because of rain early. We thought that might be the whole way it was going to go the whole week. But now there was sunshine at the end, and players have gone low. 48 under par, 63 at even. Paul Casey shot the round of the day today at 65. That's 7 under. Webb Simpson and Xander Schauffele both shot 67s, 5 under. And here's Justin Thomas. He is now 5 under through 10. He just birdied, I think, the 10th hole to get to 10 under, to get to 5 under par. So he's just 2 off the pace. And I believe he's playing the back 9, right? Didn't he open on the front 9? So he could really go low here. He could be the leader. And that record is 63. That is attainable if he got hot here.
It is very attainable, and there are a lot of people that have blitzed it today, and you just wonder if it toughens up this week. If you didn't go out there and kind of get you some today, did you leave it open for the rest of the weekend, or is it just plenty to get the rest of the weekend?
I think there is plenty, and you have to just look at history. There's never been a winner that's been in the 60s all 4 days. Of course, there's never been a Masters that's played in November. So I don't know if the greens were soft or if everything's different with the way the ball carries in the fall. Those are questions that are a little above and beyond my pay grade. But I've got a feeling we will, for the first time, see a guy get in the 60s for 4 straight rounds if those greens stay as wet and as soft as they have so far.
Dave, nothing is above your pay grade.
Well, I appreciate your confidence in me. Dustin Johnson, by the way, 3 under through 9 holes. Shouldn't Dustin Johnson, who has gotten to be a better putter, whose length is almost as far as DeChambeau's, shouldn't he be a bigger factor? Yes.
And working on his 4th or 5th major by now, his 2nd or 3rd, arguably, Masters by now, and it's won, and that puts you in rarefied air, and he's won all the money you can win, and he hangs with his father-in-law. It's got to be a great life, but give me a little more on the golf course.
Right. It's the top 50, right? So at this very moment, Gary Woodland is 51 at even par. So you've got to be under par at this point to make the cut. Now, they're not going to finish today because they started so late. No, what do they start at 6:30 Memphis time tomorrow is the first one, or maybe it's at 7.
6. No, it's at 6. It started this morning at 6.
6 Memphis time.
They're going to have to get them out there as soon as, first light tomorrow morning to start making up for, the missed time today. Probably won't get back on schedule, a normal schedule, until Sunday.
All right, let me give you some names. Tell me if they're in or they're out. Phil Mickelson, 1 under. That's right on the cut line.
I'm not doing any of that on Thursday.
On Thursday,
too much can happen tomorrow.
I'm just saying to you, how many of these guys, because you're only getting 50, how many of them are, even with good scores, could they be around?
All right,
a little
so
older. Phil Mickelson.
50 and ties. 50 and ties.
Right.
So,
well, right now there wouldn't be. Gary Woodland's at 51. The ties are at 1 under. That's Victor Perez, 250. So that's where it would be right now. Now there's guys out there. Morikawa at even par, he's still in this. There's no question. Older guys, though, that you start to wonder about if they struggled on a day when everybody went crazy and those hills are going to get to them at the end.
Yeah.
Will Phil Mickelson be around? Former champ Danny Willett, he's at even par. Morikawa, I wouldn't count him out for sure yet. Francesco Molinari, who saw it all.
George Spieth.
Back up on him. Rory McIlroy, he's even through 9.
Huh. Rory McIlroy. Who took him? Rory?
Me. I did. Oh. Yeah. I took him in the 2nd position, though. I got Rahm in the 1st position there. I don't understand Rory. He says it's the crowd. I think there's something else. Zach Johnson, an older guy who I would think would really struggle with the distance. He's at even par. I think he's going to have a problem. Bubba Watson's one over. I'm a little surprised at that. There's a guy who's been playing pretty good. You mentioned Spieth. He's 2 over. How about Brooks Koepka? He's 2 over. You know, Freddie Couples, you expect to be 2 over. Vijay Singh's 3 over. These are the guys I don't think will make it.
And with last year being Ian Woosnam's last competitive round, doesn't it feel like next April it'll be announced that'll probably be it for Freddie Couples?
I don't know, because he continues to play pretty good. How old is Freddie? Freddie's in his mid-60s, right? He's not that old yet.
61, 62.
Yeah. I would think he could play a couple more years. I would hope so. I enjoy
Bernhard Langer and Larry Mize out there doing it.
He's 61.
Yeah. How old is – really quick, look up Bernhard Langer.
68.
68. Look at his fitness level. He's had a bad back just like Freddie, and yet he keeps going. Where is he? Is he still 2 under? I mean, what a story that would be if he makes the cut. Bernhard Langer at 68, that is incredible. He's 3 under through 10, Bernhard Langer. What a story. And that is 2 hours in the books. This portion of our show is brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the tune-up. And now's the time, with temperatures going down, you got to check your air conditioning system and your heating system. I think twice a year. Once when you turn on the AC, and then especially when you turn on the heating, because you got to check for carbon monoxide. And right now, John's doing this deal where you get the super tune-up. That's 16 points that they tune up in your house, change your filter, go outside, clean out that outside unit of all the dirt and the leaves and the grime, then come back in, check your heating system for safety, including a carbon monoxide test. They do that all for $69. Please make the call. Get peace of mind. You got to check for carbon monoxide. 384-3511, that's the number. 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and heating system safety checks and tune-ups. Back in a minute, we'll talk Tigers with Greg Gaston. He comes your way right around the corner.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The big hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text TIGER to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help get you back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text TIGER to 42424. That's TIGER to 42424.
Good news. Southland Casino is now back open. That's right. The most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South is ready to welcome you back to the action with live blackjack, roulette, craps, and all your favorite slots. The action kicks off every day at 9 a.m. and rolls all the way till 5 o'clock the next morning. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and make the short drive to Southland. We're ready for you. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Service is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. If that's not enough, as your smart home provider, we'll include a free Nest Hub with your paid tune-up while supplies last. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready to use on those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And call this week, and we'll perform your heating system tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Join Sports 56 Middays this Friday from 10 to 1 at Edwin Watts, 5985 Poplar Avenue near Target. Titleist is launching the new TSI line of drivers and fairway woods this weekend. They're having a Titleist rep in-store Friday from 10 to 3 doing fittings on these new clubs. Edwin Watts will have some prizes to give away, and we'll be giving away Ole Miss football tickets as well. That's this Friday from 10 to 1 at Edwin Watts in the Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center on Poplar between Ridgeway and 240. Mask up, Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Greg Gaston joins us to talk Tigers. And again, tomorrow, Sports 56 middays at Edwin Watts from 10 until 1 o'clock tomorrow, their entire show tomorrow. You can go by and check them out at Edwin Watts. That will be fun. Go by and see Greg and Eli tomorrow at Edwin Watts. So you're watching the game. You see another ad for FanDuel Sportsbook, and you think to yourself, is that legal here in Tennessee? You bet it is. FanDuel Sportsbook now legal in Tennessee. Have you some fun tonight like I'm going to do on the Titans and the Colts. You can place your first bet on FanDuel Sportsbook risk-free and get up to $1,000 back if you don't win. Seriously, there's no strings attached. Just place any bet you want. If you win, you keep the cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in bonus site credit so you can take another shot at the end zone on the house. Try that risk-free bet this weekend. Maybe Washington State at home getting double digits against Oregon. And with FanDuel Sportsbook, generous risk-free bets are just the beginning. They've got a simple app, live betting on every game, and exhilarating bet types such as same-game parlays where you combine multiple bets from one game into a single parlay. And once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, they get you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Easy to register, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet, easy to win. When you win, get your money fast. To claim your risk-free bet, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and be sure to sign up with promo code CASH so they know that we sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook. Promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County and enjoy that town and country experience, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales at DeSoto Auto Sales. Visit them online, DeSotoAutoSales.com, and check out all the happy referrals and look at all the beautiful cars. All the cars checked out from bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, but they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience because they know we're living in a world today where time really matters. That's why you walk in within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in 45 minutes in time to do it over your busy lunch hour or like right now, immediately after work at DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience in DeSoto County.
It has been a busy day on the U of M front. Penny Hardaway spoke with the press today talking about the release of his schedule and talking a little bit about Moussa Cisse, who he expects will be eligible by the time they play their first game on November the 25th in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, against the St. Mary's Gales. Of course, today was a day where we did not find out exactly what will be done between the Tigers and Navy, if they'll be able to make up that game. I actually had a chance to have a conversation with both Brady White and Ryan Silverfield today, and Ryan was hoping they could sort something out, but there are issues because you've got the Army-Navy game that takes place sort of in the middle when all this juggling could occur. So nothing really has been totally officially sorted out, either football or basketball. That is the latest. But we love chatting with our friend Greg Gaston, who will be on the sidelines a week from Saturday when the Tigers take on Stephen F. Austin. And Brett?
He's brought to you by Southland Casino, Presto Shutters, Bartlett Small Engines, the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Westies downtown in the historic Pinch District, Christ Community Church, and Mount Moriah Auto Sales. And at Southland Casino, they are ready to welcome you back with craps, roulette, slots, blackjack, all rolling. Sportsbook betting reopened. Get in on the action tonight at Southland, the most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South. They are ready to welcome you back with roulette, craps, blackjack, and all your favorite slots. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and make the very short drive right across either bridge to Southland. They are ready for you, and we're ready for Greg.
Greg, are you you have any idea, you think that they will be able to figure out a way to get the Navy game in this year?
College football, Dave. It's Masters Week. Come on, it's November. It's a tradition. Like,
yeah, right. I know. Well, they went low today,
Nothing
buddy.
says Masters like fall foliage.
My gosh, I'm sitting here talking to you guys, looking at the Masters, which is crazy. No, you had a chance to talk to Coach Silverfield. I did as well today on the midday show, and he didn't seem optimistic. I know that they're going to try everything they can to try to get that game in. I'm not optimistic, Dave, that they'll be able to get that game in. We certainly hope it will, and who knows what it could mean in the conference. I know the Tigers and Navy are both teams that need an awful lot of help, but I think to get that game in certainly would benefit the Tigers, obviously, if they won that game, but I just don't know right now.
Well, the issue is this. You've got 2 weeks that you can play with, because the games were supposed to be on the 12th, right, or the 5th of December. That's the championship game. Now you got the 12th open and the 5th. Well, the 5th's already been used by the missed game by Houston. And the Army-Navy game, that sort of is the sticker here, because that's going to be played on the 12th unless somehow they move that game to the 19th, because they're not going to be in the championship game. That's
right.
A possibility. You could move some games around where you could play Navy on a even open date somehow, somewhere in there, and move that Houston game to a different date. There's different scenarios that could occur, but I don't think that they have it all figured out, because we're not putting in the equation that Tulsa is also owed a game by Navy, and who knows where that could be put.
Exactly. And look, if we put our list of important games, Army-Navy is going to dwarf every game on their schedule.
Right.
So they're not going to do anything to jeopardize that. If they could move it, then they would move it. But I'm not sure if that's even in the cards to do. But you're right. The Tulsa-Navy game is a big factor, because Tulsa's certainly in the mix in possibly making it to the American Conference Championship game. So there's a lot to figure out if Memphis is going to get a chance to make up that game. But right now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's not going to happen or it is going to happen. But I would kind of lean toward the pessimistic side that it won't be made up this year.
Greg, the long and very successful highway that Brady White has been on and taking Tiger fans on, they're not. They don't have the wins they have with him this year. They wouldn't have. I don't think they would have gone to a Cotton Bowl last year without him. But yet, some still want to have every game be a referendum on Brady White.
That's long over, shouldn't it be, Brett? I mean, it's just crazy that some people still bring that up. This guy has done so much for this program, for this university. And hopefully, look, he's going to be successful whatever he does. Maybe he'll get that crack in the NFL. You would think with the numbers he's put up the last couple of years, he'll at least get a look. But if not, he is such a well-educated, intelligent young man that he's going to make it no matter what field he is going down. It looks like the medical field. So I think that to bring up just ridiculous things about, he had a terrible first half, or he did this, he did that. Look, it happens. And then what did he do? He bailed out the Tigers last Saturday with the help of those fine receivers, with the help of USF going into a prevent defense. But Brady was the one who engineered those 2 drives to win the game. It would have been a disaster to lose that particular game against South Florida. And it doesn't matter how many you win by, it's if you win or lose. And they won that game, and he was a big part of the reason.
Let me give you the reasons why that argument is over, as you so well put. Okay? 24 wins, winningest touchdown in the history of the school. 9,438 career passing yards. That's number 2 all time. 777 shy of the 10,215 Danny Wimprine has. Guess what? That will be beaten. He has 81 career touchdowns. That ties Danny Wimprine. So he's already the winningest, most touchdown passes, and that'll be shattered, and he's going to end up with more yards. And then today, one of 12 finalists for the William Campbell Trophy. That is the academic Heisman. No one has ever been a finalist in the history of the school. He got an extra $18,000, by the way, in scholarship money for that. He told me today I could call him Professor already, or Doc White if I wanted to. He did not say whether or not he would be coming back next year. He'll wait on that one. Those are the reasons why this guy's incredible. Anybody who can't see that, I guess, expects a perfect game out of everybody every time. And it's crazy. It's just I don't quite get the polarizing opinion about Brady.
Haters got to hate, right? For some reason, they got to figure out a way to hate. And who knows if they're true Tiger fans, if they're just other fans that are in the area, don't root for the Tigers, and they want to make their presence felt. But the most important number you gave was 24, because that's the wins that he's engineered.
Now, Greg, I know in our feedback on these airways, we can get that. We can get a lot of them. We don't know somebody texting. That could be somebody with an agenda of another fan. But I know it wasn't a storm of Vol fans and Razorback fans and Bulldog fans and Ole Miss fans and Arkansas State fans at that AAC championship game last year booing him in the first half.
No question about it. And I can tell you, I'm not going to sit here and name names, but I can tell you a bunch of friends that I have that are Tiger fans, Tiger alums, that text me all the time when he struggles. And I said, come on, man, hasn't he done enough for you guys yet? Hasn't he proven himself? But getting back to the numbers, again, it's all well and good, all the records he's going to break, and obviously it's a passing world we live in now in football, whatever league it may be, whether it's the NFL, college, or high school. But 24 wins, the most wins by any Tigers quarterback. And while it's a team sport, you still have to have some great individuals, and especially at that position as your field general, as the signal caller. And 24 wins and a trip last year to the Cotton Bowl, for goodness sakes, to be the New Year's Six representative. He's gone beyond what other quarterbacks have done. Paxton put up great numbers. Riley put up great numbers. Danny Wimprine, just a warrior. But Brady has taken them to the new heights. That's the biggest bowl game in their history, the Cotton Bowl. So how can you sit here and still, at this point, argue about Brady White and his significance at the University of Memphis? It is absolutely ridiculous.
And be competitive in that bowl game in Dallas until the very end of the game. This, by the way, just in, we want to pass this along. It comes from John Rothstein from CBS Sports. He has tweeted, sources, the Ivy League has canceled winter sports. So they canceled fall, and now they are canceling basketball. And, we've seen teams like from the state of Ohio have to drop out of the Sioux Falls, South Dakota tournament because the spread of COVID, the percentage of positive cases on tests is too high for that state. If you go out of the state to that state and come back to Ohio, you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. So they're being very careful. And that's why Dayton and that's why Ohio State are out. I just wonder during this crazy spike, are we just going to have to delay the start of college basketball? We sort of started that at the beginning of this program. Brett brought it up. Why do we have to have for football a finite date? Why does that championship game grouping have to be on December the 19th if we have to slow down now with all these cancellations from this past week? The 4 SEC games already canceled. Why do you have to continue to use those dates even for basketball because we're spiking right now and we've got some sort of vaccine from at least Pfizer and maybe Johnson & Johnson, which, by the way, is going to be testing. If you're interested, get a hold of St. Jude, because there's going to be a test of that Johnson & Johnson vaccine in Memphis for people. My question is, why can't we move the date back if we have to?
They could, if need be. Everything's fluid. Everything's up in the air. So I don't know why anything would be etched in stone. And to piggyback off what you said about the Ivy League, I am not shocked at all about that. I thought that was the road they were going down. Now the question is, and I don't know why anybody in the right mind would want to leave the possibility of an Ivy League degree to go somewhere else, but there's probably a few players there that could be guys that teeter in the NBA or the G League that may want to move on to another program that's actually playing basketball. And I wonder how they're going to receive that news if players want to leave right now and go to another team, jump into the into the transfer portal and try to move on. I don't know how they would deal with that situation. But to answer your question, Wallo, yes, they need to be fluid. They need to be able to move things around, because why in this day and age with this COVID and it's affecting everything, why would you put your feet down firmly in the ground and not move or not even have a notion to move because you're stubborn? There's no reason why you couldn't move if you have to.
Greg, this Tigers football team, look, I think a good team record, probably about where it should be. I don't know any losses that you would really say, hey, we should have that one back, and not going to give any wins back for sure. Where do you think it goes the rest of the year? What do you think the strength of the team really is?
Well, I think, first of all, everybody has faced their issues around the country. It's very rare if you're a school that hasn't faced a player hitting the either transferring or opting out because of COVID. And Memphis got hit with that 9th player today with the news of Everett Cunningham. So they have been hit pretty big time when you think about Kenneth Gainwell and DeMonte Coxey. But again, it's something that we're seeing with just about every program out there. I think you're absolutely right, Brett. I think the Tigers are probably where most people thought they would be. They had the one loss to Cincinnati. Cincinnati looks to be the top of the heap in the conference and a complete team. Moving forward will be interesting, because as we get closer to the end of the season, you have to have all your players, you have to have everybody in that program dialed in. You want to finish strong, both mentally. Now, physically, you got to be ready, but mentally, you're all in. And that's up to the coaches. The coaches really have to do a great job in keeping the players fixated on the goals of the team and what they want to do. And that's obviously get to, if they can, a chance to defend their title, and if not, the best bowl game they could possibly get to. So I think the Tigers right now are facing some issues with, obviously, the defense, and the pass defense has not been good. Some of it's injury. Some of it certainly is the transition that they've made with Mike McIntyre taking over as the defensive coordinator and using a different set. But we're far enough into the season where those guys just need to do a better job individually. And then the running game. They have to find some running game consistency. We saw it early in the season. We have not seen it the last couple of weeks. And when you don't have that running game, you guys know it puts all the pressure on the quarterback and the passing game. And Memphis has been able to make it for the most part. But, the SMU loss, again, that one you can go, well, we thought Memphis was going to win. I thought that was going to be really tough. The Cincinnati loss, you thought they were probably going to lose that game because Cincinnati just looked like a better all-around team, if I'm honest with everybody. And everything else was what you expected. So hopefully they can all be bought in for the remainder of the season and can finish strong.
I think they will. I think some opt-outs are just guys that are disgruntled. I mean, I don't believe Everett Cunningham has opted out because all of a sudden he's worried about COVID. I think he's been on the bench. He was never loved and used much by Mike McIntyre. I feel a little sorry for Everett because the prior DC for the Tigers liked him and was using him a bunch. And, for whatever reason, he's not been in the plans for Mike. So he played a little in the Arkansas State game. I don't think he's played since then. And he just thought, well, we're all going to get a free transfer next year. And that's the other issue that coaches are really going to have to pay attention to, because everybody's getting a free year this year, and now you're going to get next year starting. Everybody gets a free transfer year. The way you move people or use your scholarships, and they're going to have to come up, and you roster manage is going to be critical here for the next 4 years.
It's almost like the analytics that we always talk about in professional sports has become a major part of collegiate sports, especially football, and just trying to figure out the financial situation and the implications and the numbers, the pure numbers for recruiting. It's crazy, and not to mention the things that are going to happen with name, image, and likeness and all those types of things. But, yeah, I think I used to be really hardline guy about transfers, saying, come on, suck it up, try to win the job. If you're not getting playing time, get out there, win the job. Don't be a quitter, don't leave. And now I kind of changed the tune, like, well, I understand. If you don't feel that it's working out for you here and you want to play, you don't want to sit on the bench, go somewhere else. So I do understand the plight of the athlete, the collegiate athlete in today's world. I've certainly changed my tune on that.
I'm with you, Greg. I used to be pretty hard shell about it, and honestly, I just saw how little a lot of administrators and coaches really cared about them for it not to work both ways. And you've got one shot at college and at life, and if you're not happy, move on, because I guarantee you those coaches will.
Absolutely. And how about if you just wanted to, you were just a regular student, no student athlete, and you were getting your education, but you felt like you could go somewhere else to better your education, you decided to transfer to another school.
I want to go party at Maryland with Greg. What was stopping me back in 1982?
Exactly. We didn't study. We didn't do it. No, but certainly you wouldn't jump all over that person, right? But you do, or you have in the past, jump all over the student athlete. Now, again, I think more people are understanding of their situation.
I just hope that the person that transfers, and I'm okay with all this transfer. I think it's a one-time deal. Okay, if you're unhappy, you think you're getting a raw deal, okay, I'm okay with it. But please do due diligence. Let's just say you're not a starter, but you're in a good rotation situation. Maybe you've won some games for your team. I'm kind of referring to Tyler Harris here, and I only wish him the best. But Tyler Harris leaves to go to Iowa State. Now, what happens if Iowa State? Now, he's used his transfer. That's it. He's not getting another transfer. And let's just say coaching staff at Iowa State brings in guys that are better than him. Now he's not even a rotation player. And I think that's going to happen. I think you're going to see that a bunch.
Well, it's kind of like the grass isn't always greener, right?
Yeah.
You don't know that maybe you have it actually better now than you will in the future. However, I also could see the other way where that particular player, in this case Tyler Harris, says, you know what? It was fine. I enjoyed it. I like playing at home, but I think I'm going to get a better shot at Iowa State. You buy into that, and sometimes the coaches sell you a bill of goods. Hopefully that's not the case, but you have to compete. You have to go out there and earn it. Nobody is given anything. So hopefully for Tyler in this case, or in the case of anybody, any of these student athletes that decide to transfer, that they do look at the complete situation, as you said, Wolo, make the right choice with their families, and then hopefully get an opportunity to shine wherever they go.
I hope that's the way it works, and that's the perfect world. But I got to tell you, I'm a little worried about that perfect world. I don't think you're going to see a lot of it.
Nothing's perfect anymore.
No, it is not. And by the way, we get some new news here.
Au contraire, it will be perfect. Tomorrow, go watch the Masters at Edwin Watts with y'all. It will be perfect there.
Not too shabby. See, Jay Hasselman just has to roll out some type of green carpet when you walk into the store. That would be perfect. But no, we're going to have a good time tomorrow. But Wolo, what do you got? Breaking news?
Not really big news. Rice at La Tech, that has been postponed as well. That's the latest of the postponements. Last word of advice for you if you're on that putting green tomorrow: everything breaks to Poplar.
It's like Ray's Creek. It's got a natural pull to Poplar.
Just like
I'll
Ray's
keep
Creek.
it in mind, guys.
That'd
No
be
question.
fun.
Thank you,
Y'all
Greg.
have fun, Greg. Y'all will.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
You got it. Greg Gaston brought to you every week by Southland Casino, Presto Shutters, Bartlett Small Engines, the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Westies downtown in the historic Pinch District, Christ Community Church, and Mount Moriah Auto Sales. And we appreciate Greg with us.
We should point out that there obviously have been a lot of games in the SEC that have been canceled. I know there's a question probably about Ole Miss and A&M because of the problems that A&M has right now in the cancellation of the Tennessee game. But the Ole Miss South Carolina game is definitely still a go with broadcast time here Saturday at Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1 at about 4:30. That game is still on, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to double check and be sure. And you'll listen to Brett on that pregame show. This portion of our program brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, and of course Genesis of Olive Branch, same building, and they are really building up the Genesis department. They are getting in that SUV that I've been talking about for a long time, the GV80. This is a long time in development. There have been some industrial reports about this car saying that it is the equivalent of a $300,000 vehicle. And, of course, it is nothing like that price. It is just a gorgeous SUV, and it should be here at Genesis of Olive Branch, right on Craft Road and Highway 78, next week, end of next week. But now, while they're bringing all these new Genesis cars in, they are moving the 20s out. So I got a 2020 G70. That's that little sports car. It's not a sports car. It's a sedan, but it's smaller than the G90. But it is like a sports car. When you put that thing in sports mode, there's never been a better handling, faster car that I have ever had. And I've had a bunch of cars. And they got a couple right now. They are moving at a great price and 0% financing for 72 months. Yes, you can afford a 2020 Genesis G70 if you act quickly. Go down there. You know you're going to get the warranty, the lifetime limited powertrain warranty. You're going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. All new Hyundais and all new Genesis cars get that. See why I think they've raised the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little baseball with our friend Tim Doolin. We've already talked to him about the White Sox decision to hire Tony La Russa. Since then, the new information about his second DUI. What does he think will happen with La Russa and the White Sox? That comes your way next.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Napa know-how.
Right now, get a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil and a platinum filter for just $22.98. They're an iconic duo like salt and pepper, a hammer and a nail, or the holidays and awkward hugs. You can't get one without the other. That's Napa full synthetic and a platinum filter for just $22.98. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales price does not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 12/31/20.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking, no telephone pole to get in your way, a cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
For professional staffing, there's only one name you need to know: Robert Half. Robert Half custom matches our candidates to your specific hiring requirements by combining personalized service from local staffing experts with an advanced matching technology based on 70 years of successful placements. For highly skilled accounting, finance, IT, legal, marketing, or administrative staffing, count on Robert Half. We'll find you productive, engaged employees. Learn more at roberthalf.com.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1, and the new FM 98.5.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We got some breaking news right on cue, too, because we're going to talk baseball here in a minute with Tim Doolin. Jose Abreu, the Chicago White Sox first baseman who had 60 RBI in 60 games this year, has just been named the American League MVP. He's the third White Sox first baseman to do that. And the other two, pretty darn good players. The big hurt, Frank Thomas, and the other, the guy who hit a ball out of the ballpark faster than any other player I've ever seen. And I've seen Mays, and I saw Aaron, and I saw all those great sluggers from the
Give me the years.
60s.
Give me the years. Give me the years.
Oh, gosh. What was the year he's the MVP? He was a great player in the National League, too, and he had a habit of writing messages.
Ted Kluszewski.
No.
Harold Baines.
Nope. Hit the ball out of the ballpark faster than any human being.
Richie Allen?
Yes, sir. Dick Allen. Dick Allen, the third
Richie,
White
Dick.
Sox first baseman.
Hey, he was a great Philly. Greg Gaston grew up loving him.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when he became Dick Allen, after he was a young, precocious Richie Allen.
Right.
When he became Dick Allen, he was a pretty good Cardinal.
You
Wore
know
those
what?
stirrups real high, didn't he?
Yeah, well, and I think where he really started doing that thing where he would write in the dirt with his spikes,
Yeah.
boo, that was in Philly. That's where he did it.
Yeah, and Greg always loved him. Look, we're going to visit with Tim Doolin about baseball, and I know right now people are deciding, what are we going to do for dinner? Go to Jason's Deli, any of these locations, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Not just a lunch place. Great lunch place. Unquestionably a great lunch place, but a great dinner place as well. They like to say, wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, and it is indeed a family thing at Jason's Deli. Over 200 Memphis associates with these Jason's Deli, the locations at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. They love their employees. They love their customers. And they appreciate you in these trying times that we are in. And we are still very much in them. That's why they are very safe, very contactless. Gloves, masks, face shields, everything, including that great salad bar with over 30 items to choose from. Used to, you would do that. You would prepare it any way you want it. Now you just ask them how you want it, and they'll make sure it's prepared the way you want it. That's at the salad bar. The salad you can order off the menu, the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken club salad, nutty mixed up salad, they're all terrific. The soups are great. The meats, the breads, the spreads, all the food, so very good and good for you. Plenty of organic food to choose from. You can build your own sandwich via the build your own sandwich selections. You will be delighted at any of these Jason's Delis, trans fat food. And for the holidays, I know not as much this year with the office get-togethers and even the big family get-togethers, but catering anytime, anywhere, and let them take care of it for you at Jason's Deli. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Tim Doolin joins us. We talk baseball, and Tim, any argument with Abreu becoming the MVP of the American League today?
No, not at all. I mean, he's been a dynamic in the league for a long time. And obviously I watched actually on MLB Now the presentation and getting ready to do the National League right now. But he was very emotional, very appreciative of all the people that have been influential in his life, and especially his career. So no, I think it was a great choice.
Who will be the National League MVP in your mind?
Well, I'm hopeful it's going to be Mookie, but I think it's
landslide.
Well, we'll see. I hope so. I think Freddie Freeman is definitely viable, and obviously Manny had a great year in San Diego doing what they did.
They all did, and Tim, you were. That was a very diplomatic answer. We could have put you on CNN election night coverage with that diplomacy there, but it should be Mookie Betts. It should be Mookie Betts. And Dave and I chided a little bit the voters for the National League Manager of the Year. Dave Roberts. Dave was even in the top 4.
No, he was not. I don't think he was in the top 5.
What do you got to do?
Well, I think a lot of times writers are looking at the fact that they should have been that good, and they should have.
But they were.
And they were, and obviously he was a big part of it. I can't imagine how difficult, not just for the players, but I can't imagine how difficult it was for for managers to manage during this crazy year. And there's no question that you look what Don Mattingly did with the fact that he dealt with so many players coming up from the taxi squad with COVID, everything else, and for them to get to the playoffs, no one would have expected that. So I think he was obviously a good choice, but Dave Roberts would have been a good choice as well.
Yeah, and I know a lot of times, especially in Coach of the Year, we kind of want to find the rags to riches story. The
comeback
ragamuffin roster, the comeback guy, the little guy. I would, if I managed or coached, I would prefer to have a galaxy of stars. That makes it a lot easier. But sometimes managing that galaxy of stars, especially in this odd year, Tim, I think is more difficult than people truly realize. And how because if Dave Roberts doesn't win it all, we're talking about next year. If he got off to a slow start, the shake things up theory.
Yeah. Well, I think you're exactly right. And I played, been fortunate to play on some great teams, and I can remember playing in Rochester. We won the AAA World Series, and we had Schilling, Harness, Mussina, Jose Mesa, J.J. Bautista, Chris Hoyles. I mean, we had a studded all-star team, and that was tough for our manager because you got guys that are playing in AAA that thinks they should be in the big leagues. But to manage a club and to be on a club full of superstars like the Dodgers did, to get them all to buy into a team concept and to get them all to buy into helping each other and doing all those things and not be selfish, it's challenging in its own right. And I think the reason why Dave Roberts has done such a good job is because he played the game, was not a superstar, but yet he was a consummate teammate and did all the little things he had to do to help his team. And I think he's able to mold young superstars with veteran superstars and kind of get out of the way. I think Buck Showalter made a great comment the other day about, guys that are the best managers are sometimes the ones that are smart enough to get out of the way and let the players do it.
Who was your manager in Syracuse with all that young talent?
It was Rochester. I had a guy named
Rochester. I'm sorry,
Greg Biagini, who passed away, and unfortunately, I had Johnny Oates for a brief period, and he was probably the most. He was probably the best manager on and off the field, just because of the amount of integrity he had, how open and honest he was, and transparent he was. Unlike a lot of minor league and major league baseball, there's not as much communication. There wasn't at that point in time as I thought there should have been with players, but Johnny Oates was phenomenal.
What do you think the White Sox should do with Tony La Russa now? Now that it came out, I think the management, ownership has sort of embarrassed themselves because it came out that they very well knew that he had been busted for DUI. I don't know if they knew the gory details about him showing off his ring and talking about being a Hall of Famer and all this other stuff. That is
Kinda
not a
big
good
time
look.
police officer, not good.
And they're basically saying that they're going to wait until this case is closed before they make their decision, and they got time to do that. But do you think Tony La Russa gets past this and will manage the White Sox next year?
I think so, unless it just gets so out of hand, which I don't think it's gonna. I don't think that there's going to be enough pressure by. There's so much going on in our society now, and I don't think, even though it's not right to drive under the influence, I can assure you the White Sox ownership and management knew about it before they hired him. I guarantee you they did.
They admitted they knew. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
And so I think he survives it. And I hope that he doesn't have issues as far as being dependent upon it or anything like that, because that's not good. If you're hiring a guy knowing he's got he's got those conditions. So I think he survives it, and obviously there's going to need to be something that's justified to say, why did you hire him knowing what you know? And hopefully they're going to say something to the effect that we've addressed it with Tony. He's sought help outside to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And I think we go from there.
Tim, by 76, shouldn't we have all these things kind of worked out by then?
You would think so, but I'm going to tell you, it's and I'm not saying he is, but alcoholism is a terrible disease. It affects so many people, and not just the person that's going through it. It affects families and friends and everything and everything else. So, yeah, you would think so, but I'm sure it doesn't. It doesn't really know how old people are.
Tim, you're right. You're right, and it is very insidious. You're right, and the pain and destruction it gives to people around you that love you until you're able to recognize the issue, it really does do damage to families and to friends.
Yeah, no, it really does. It really does. It's a tough deal. It really is.
I'm going to tell you, I think it's 50-50 on him managing the White Sox. I really think that.
I'm with you, Dave. It may be worse than that.
I think the look that he gave in that report is not a good look. And
well, let me just back up. I don't disagree with you, but if you're intoxicated, you're not the same person that is doing what you're doing. And I would assure you, most people that were in that position would do exactly what he did. Hey, I'm a Hall of Famer. Here's my World Series ring. Go easy on me. Whatever, to get out of it. That's what they're going to do, especially if they're intoxicated. So I'm not condoning it, and right. I'm disagreeing with what you're saying. The bottom line is it does look bad, but anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. There's already I've read at least one, maybe two that were pretty hard on him. National writers. I think the one thing he does have going for him, I think for the most part, I think most of the national baseball media likes Tony, so I think he gets the benefit of the doubt there. But it just depends on the pressure that's put on by the national media, the Chicago media, and how White Sox ownership ends up reacting there.
Yep, no, there's no question. I mean, it's going to be driven by the media. I can assure you. If they make it a big deal and it becomes so massive that ownership can't withstand it, they're going to have to let him go.
I would agree with that. And any stories? Besides the MVPs and Cy Youngs, or anything else that has tickled your fancy this week in Major League Baseball?
Not really. No, not really. It was Blaze Jordan just got back from instructional league, so I was interested to catch up with him to to kind of see how that was. I went to 3 instructional leagues when I played, and obviously that's been a long time ago, but they kind of kept the same format over the years until this year. This year they, typically they would take, 75 players to instructional league. This year, most of the clubs took around 40 guys. So he had a great experience, although it was challenging because he was stuck in a hotel room when he wasn't at JetBlue, the spring training site for the Red Sox. But no, nothing really. I think it's going to be interesting, to switch gears a little bit. The National Signing Day was yesterday and today for college baseball players that are entering college. College baseball is going into some new territory this year where the NCAA is going to allow players to transfer and be immediately eligible.
Right.
And I think that's a good thing for players because a lot of times players in all sports get log jammed or whatever. It doesn't work out, and then they have to go sit out a year, which is very tough. It'll be interesting to see if the SEC follows suit to where they do or don't allow players to transfer and be immediately eligible within the league. And that'll be interesting to see. But one of the things that's interesting is to think about this. Let's say you got a player that goes to Memphis or a Middle Tennessee State or a UT Martin or whatever, and he has a great year, and he outperformed what expectations were, and then all of a sudden he says, you know what? Auburn has a need at third base. I'm leaving. I'm going to Auburn, play in the SEC, and be immediately eligible. That's going to hurt a lot of mid-majors.
True, but there could be guys that are very close to playing in the SEC, don't feel like they're getting their due, and they'd come down to an American Athletic Association team.
There's no question. That's a good thing, but guess what that does? It's a constant challenge for a manager, much like what we were just talking about with, and you got chemistry issues. You got guys saying, "Well, I'm not going to go to one of these mid majors because there's no chance in hell these guys have an opportunity to become really relevant in the regional aspect of things or going on to postseason because they're only going to have a player that has a great year for 1 year because he's going to leave and go to a better school."
It opens up a whole new thing, and there's going to be
really
trade-offs. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. No question about it. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
All right, guys. Thanks.
That is our man on baseball, Tim Dooley. He's brought to you by Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Smensdorf. And he promised his clients he'd advertise their homes on my show. So here we go. 115 Palisade near the University of Memphis. Oh, that's under contract. 1106 Oak Ridge near Dixon Gallery. Oh, that's under contract. In Germantown, his listings on Willowbrook and Oak Pike Drive. Both those are under contract. So I asked Sheldon, why couldn't he advertise homes that weren't sold? And he said that using his highly successful strategic marketing program, they sell too quickly. He also said preparation, presentation, proper pricing, the 4 Ps, they're the keys to any successful sale. And that is why people say you want the job done, you call Sheldon. He says, talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers. Make sure he's one of them, though. You can reach Sheldon at 483-0546, 483-0546, or at memphisrelocate.com. Again, call him now. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Sheldon gets it done. Back with Crunch Time in just a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight. exclusively FedEx. When we put them in nice packaging, we don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
When you are in need of quality jeans, shirts, and boots, think Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Frontier has thousands of square feet of merchandise at everyday low prices. Tons of jeans by Carhartt, Wrangler, and Ariat. Whether you're after classic denim jeans, dungarees, or work pants, you'll find it among Frontier's amazing selection of stylish modern fits. Flame-retardant jeans and shirts now available as well. Colder weather is on the way and Frontier is prepared with overalls, coats, and fleece jackets. Hundreds of jackets and coats in stock by Ariat. Inventory may be scarce this year, so come in today to grab yours while it's in stock. Don't forget the boots. Frontier boasts dozens and dozens of styles of boots. Work, dress, or play, come try on all the latest boot trends, as well as proven classics, Ariat, Durango, Dan Post, and many, many more. You are guaranteed to find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Water damage to your home or business can be an absolute nightmare. And the faster you remove the standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They have been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They are a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They are always on call and will respond within an hour. They work with most insurance companies and are the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers home team. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services can't prevent disasters in your home and at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. Call 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390 or online at landmarkco.org.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
This final portion of the show is brought to you by Din Stools, and I got a nice note from Becky, but I got some sad news here. They're going to have to revisit their usual holiday kickoff. There will not be a candy kitchen tour this year. No holiday open house at this time. Usually, though, they only have discounts on their candy for that one day. But now they're going to expand the discount offerings through the entire weekend. We'll let you know more about that as time goes on, but there's not going to be the open house. I only hope, Brett, that there will be for Valentine's Day in February, our ability to get back out there and to tell everybody about the great candies, about the Cashew Crunch, about the Turtlettes, even about those strawberries, which will then be ripe and ready to go. But I'm just letting you know right now, look, you still can send Memphis elsewhere to relatives that crave Din Stools to make their holiday sweet if you want to, and if you want to give away a corporate gift, they can still do that for you. Unfortunately, no open house this year. It's time for Crunch Time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the babies. Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello,
Boop!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
On one, on two, on three.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. I learned today that it took a long time to get it going, but we finally got the Masters going for 2020, and it should be outstanding the rest of the weekend. Dave, what'd you learn?
I just learned moments ago, you might think this is robbery, Freddie Freeman is the National League most valuable player. So Jose Abreu wins it in the American League, and it's not Mookie. The Dodger, former Red Sox, good friend of Tim Doolin, did not win the NL MVP. Freddie Freeman did. I also learned this really cool story. I like this story. Dan Le Batard, who I think is a really good guy, Dan Le Batard, when he learned that his producer was getting laid off by ESPN, said, "I'll pay your salary and I'm giving you a raise."
Mookie Betts is a lot like LeBron James. He could win it every year. Could have done without. Only USC at 1-0, Arizona at 0-0, and Oregon at 1-0, at 1-0 Washington State, and 3-0 Northwestern against 2-0 Purdue. That's the only undefeated versus undefeated FBS games this weekend. Isn't that wild?
I could have done without the news. Everett Cunningham entering the transfer portal. It just goes to show you, if you're a Tiger coach or you're a football coach these days, you're getting killed with opt-outs, you're getting killed with injury, you're getting killed with COVID, you're getting killed with contact tracing, and then you get a guy who doesn't get playing time, you get killed with transfers.
Yeah.
Cannot win.
And it's why people need to be so I think, really slow to criticize Ryan Silverfield about anything, because he took over a first year with expectations and the craziest year ever. Dave, Titans will be good tonight, and also what'll be good tonight will be Boise State, and they've already lost, so we don't have them as the hostage takers of college football.
No, we got a couple of games. Also, we'll watch all the results from the Masters. We thank Bill Bender. We thank Rex Hoggard. We thank Russell Copeland. We thank Greg Gaston. We thank Tim Doolin. It's been a fun show. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Brett. I'm Wallo. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great night, everyone.
And now a game of commercial.